Yo, let's go. What's up, guys? So, like I said, today is my birthday. Today's actually my 18th birthday. So, we're going to do a special little stream, okay? I literally have nothing planned for the stream. I have no idea where it's going to go, but let's just have fun, okay? Let's just have fun. Let's just do a Q&A, all that kind of stuff. A lot of fun, high energy stream. Let's do this, folks. But first, give me 1 second because I'm trying to make a sentimental post on Instagram as we speak about my birthday, and I literally can't find a good picture for it. So it's very sad right now. It's like, do I literally not have any like cool political pictures of me from when I was a little bit younger here? I mean, what's going on here? This is very cringe and very annoying, if I'm to be completely honest. So give me a second here, guys. Let me try to figure this out. Or you know what? Maybe I'll just post a tweet. Okay, maybe that's what I'll just do. But anyways, guys, what's up? Birthday stream. Let's do this. Just pop your questions in the chat. That's probably what we'll do. We'll just do a Q&A to start off the gate while I try to figure out how to make a post on Instagram about this, okay? So drop your questions in the chat, folks. Let's interact. Let's do this. In fact, let me go through the chat right now for a little bit. Ethan Ellis says some breaking news first. Walter Mondale has died at 93. Wow, rest in peace, man. That's crazy. I honestly, if I'm gonna be completely, I didn't even know he was still alive. But that's very sad. My phone died. Okay. I guess we're not doing it then. All right. I guess we're not freaking. Very cringe. I'm a really smart person, aren't I? But first, guys, before we get into tonight's stream, check this out. Is this not adorable? This is literally baby me right here. I think I was like 1 year old when I took this picture. I think so. That's me. That's also me. If you would believe it or not, that is also me as well. And then this, guess who that is? Oh yeah, that's me. So yeah, guys. But it's honestly, it's been pretty cool, guys, because I started doing politics, all this stuff here when I was 15 years old. Okay, so I've kind of been able to go through all of high school almost. I mean, I wasn't doing this when I was a freshman, but I basically almost was able to go through almost all of high school with you guys, with the boys. So it's very awesome, very epic, guys. So like I said, tonight we'll just do like an open stream. You can ask me anything, say anything. In fact, we'll probably do call-ins in a little bit, so you guys can actually actively join the stream. But for now, folks, we'll just do a Q&A and we'll go through the chat. So everyone's wishing me happy birthday in the chat right now. Thank you. I clicked the wrong one. I didn't mean to click that chat. But thank you very much, you guys. Welcome to the 18 Club. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys, to everyone who's sending me stuff. But yeah, it's crazy because everyone has always like thought I was like 20 by now. But no, this is actually my 18th birthday, okay? And I think the part I'm most excited about is the fact that I can actually go to the shooting range on my own. Like, that's epic. Like, that's based in epic. I mean, no more, is this your son? Yes. Okay, well, you're going to have to share a lane. Like, no, shut up. That's cringe. I get my own lane now. And I'm about to have my own gun, but that's probably going to take a while because it's California and there's a lot of stupid stuff you have to go through. But yeah. Press like to remove shadow ban on Insta. No, press the bookmark button, actually. All right. So we got our first question for tonight. And again, this is going to be like literally an Ask Me Anything stream, okay? We're just going to have a lot of fun, a lot of high energy tonight, guys. But it says, too much high energy. I knocked down my light. Is water wet? So, hold on. Let me try to stick this back up. Okay. This question, is water wet? So the answer is actually yes. I know there's been a lot of debate about this, but if you know chemistry, organic, is it organic chem? I don't even freaking know. I just tried to say organic chemistry to seem smart, but I really don't know if it classifies as organic chemistry. Haven't taken chemistry in quite a few years, guys, but water is actually wet because when water exists in nature, water molecules are not just floating freely in space. They form hydrogen bonds with one another. So when you get water, you're not just getting one molecule of water, you're getting water that is, guess what? In contact, attached to other water molecules through hydrogen bonds. So to answer your question, is water wet? The answer is yes, water is wet because water molecules as they exist in nature Very annoying to get interrupted. Sorry about that, guys. But as I was saying, water is wet because it is touch. What is the definition of wet? Wet means touching water, basically. It has water on it. Your average water molecule is touching water. Therefore, water is wet. End of story. Don't want to hear it. Shut up, libtards. Explaining chemistry to own the libs. Turning 18 to own the libs. But that's absolutely true. LD sends me $50. Let's go. Let's go. $50 from LD says, happy birthday. Thank you very much. God bless you, LD. And thank you very much for the 50. Let's go, boys. But yeah. It's guys, okay, I just want to make it clear. All money I'm sending, this is the plan for the cash, by the way. If you guys want to send me gifts, again, you can do it through the super chat. Or the thing is, YouTube taxes like 30% of the super chats. Like it takes, like they take some of it. So if you don't want to give money to the satanic big tech overlords, just a joke, obviously. Okay, I'm just joking when I say that. That definitely would never try to argue that that's actually how it really goes. But if you guys do want to donate to me, you know, without that, I also have my PayPal, Venmo, Cash App down below if you guys want to send me a birthday gift. But just to let you guys know, the plan with these gifts is I want to put it all into cryptocurrency, probably Dogecoin, because I'm a Dogecoin nationalist proudly. Now that I'm 18, I can actually have my own investment account. Obviously, I'm not going to buy right away necessarily. I'm going to kind of gauge when the time is right. But then blow it up to the moon, cash it out, and then we're going to I'm going to buy a gun. Buy another gun, that is to say. We already have one. Okay, that's the plan. That's the plan. So if you guys want to donate to that fund, let's go. All right, so let's go. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question, folks. It says, do you think that senators should be approved by state legislators? This is something that I've really been torn on. Like, I always go back and forth between this because, you know, on one hand, democracy is cringe and dumb. And there's a reason the founders basically tried to set it up so that way senators weren't democratically elected directly, because they actually wanted to strip democracy. And I'm a fan of that. Democracy is cringe. Democracy is stupid. And we should honestly have less democracy, I think, in our society. The thing is, the majority really is not a reliable source to make decisions. With that being said, that would also assume that the basically, because when you have indirect election of senators, it's basically more of like an elitist system, which in itself is not inherently bad, right? Every society has elites, and it's not always good to let the majority run everything. The problem I see with doing that in our society right now would be that, look at the people who are in charge now. Look at the political class now, and ask yourself, are those the people that you would really want to be kind of, you know, running things and basically deciding the senators for you? I don't know if our current, so generally speaking, I think it's a good idea. But when I look at it in the 21st century, I'm like, okay, does the political class really know better than the majority? And by the way, I'm not really a fan of like majority rule, you know, not always, because I think the majority can make some pretty bad decisions. But at the same time, those are the people doing it. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of, so I would honestly say, whatever. It's the way we've been doing it for the last 100 years. Just leave it the way it is. But I would say if we had a more, a less annoying political system, maybe it'd be a good idea. Because this is also, I think, a problem I see in the Senate is that, you know, senators are basically all suckers for short-term game, right? Because, you know, they're always trying to focus on getting reelected. Especially when, you know, the first 2-3 years of their terms, it's fine. But as you get closer, they're more focused on getting reelected. And so the thing is, and it's a big problem, I think, in our political system in general, is that politicians basically try to go for short-term political gain, political points, instead of, you know, thinking about the country in the long term. And that is one downside of a democratic system, is that because, you know, all these politicians are essentially just trying to get reelected, they're going to value getting reelected over doing what's really right. And that's not to say, by the way, that like in an autocratic, undemocratic system, you will not have corrupt elites, because you absolutely will. But the problem I see with the too much presence of democracy in our system is people don't think long term like this. You know, like, here's an example, right? Actually, you know, the budget's a great example. I know I like to clown on like fiscal conservatives a lot, but this is something that I actually think is true. You know, in the long run, it would benefit our country, not save our country, but like in this aspect, right? In the fiscal aspect, it would benefit the country greatly in the long run if we would balance the budget. And that is true. But the thing is, in order to balance the budget in the short term, a lot of people are going to have to lose some stuff, right? We're going to have to cut down on the social programs or the military or whatever it is to balance the budget, right? In the short term. So in the short term, you're going to take a little hit. In the long term, let's say you reform Social Security, for instance, it would save things. The thing is, in a democratic system where like all the Congress people are up for re-election every 2 years, what happens is that, well, you know what? Maybe it's a good idea to fix the budget in the long term, but I'm worried about getting reelected. And if I send stimulus checks or whatever it is, right, out to people right now, that'll be good. That'll be Gucci. I'll get reelected. And who cares, right? Who cares? I'll just worry about that later down the line. That I think is the problem in our current political system. And that's why I say we actually need less democracy in our system, not more. But I also think that the people currently in charge really don't like us and really don't have our best interests at heart. So that's also something to consider. And that's also something to think about. All right, let's see. So what do I suggest? This is going to be a really cringe fence-sitting answer, but I'm honestly just going to suggest, like, just leave things the way they are right now. I mean, who cares? We can always just fix it later. But yeah, Raghav says, are you still valedictorian? As of now, yes. We will see what happens. Okay, we will see what happens, folks. All right. We'll see if we'll see what goes down with that that whole incident. And I think a lot of you guys don't really know this story. And so in honor of my birthday, I'm literally just going to talk all about myself and be an ultimate narcissist and tell you guys the story. Okay, deal with it. But so last June, I basically got like very canceled at school. Okay, you know how it goes. It was in the midst of Black Lives Matter. I was being a little bit too based for some of my classmates, and they not only like just came after me online, which is just whatever, but they were sending threats to me. One kid doxed me from school, by the way, not like a random person on the internet that's like just Harper Fairy 69 or whatever. This is like a kid at my school who did this, and a few kids started like an email campaign to my principal, basically saying that Vince should not get to, because I'm the number one class rank, still am. Haha, deal with it, libs. But they basically emailed my principal saying he shouldn't get to represent our class because he doesn't represent our class values. You know, he shouldn't get to speak because he's conservative. And my principal said, cool guy, by the way. My principal said, no, that's not how it works. Whatever the valedictorian political views are just irrelevant. Like he's the valedictorian. He's going to make a speech. And I was like, very based, very red pilled. And so nothing came of that. Now, obviously, I'm graduating this year, so we'll see if anything changes. Right? I'm gonna have to see if anything changes. But I think it'll be fine. Same principle, same everything. Okay, they're just gonna have to deal with it. All right, they might have to walk out because I think they said we're having an in-person graduation. You know what? They might have to walk out there. They might have to boo me. But we'll keep you updated. Okay, we'll tell you how it goes. But as of now, okay, it is on. Dowboy Summer is on, and so we'll be good. It's my kid's birthday too. Happy. Let's go. April 19th nationalism. Let's go. Okay. So let's do that. Red, White, and Ben says, damn, dude, I feel you. I got kicked out of a school club because I said transgenderism is a mental illness. Many such cases. That is very cringe, my guy. Yeah. But why would they? Actually, let me know. Can you tell me what club was it? Like what? I'm kind of curious now. What club did you walk into? Did you just walk into like the Gay Straight Alliance, the LGBT club, and be like, I'm saying it? Like, let me know. I kind of want to hear that story. I'm kind of interested in that. So close to 8K subs. So true. We're like, I think 8 subscribers away. So you know what? I'll probably just promote the channel on Instagram or something, and I'm sure we'll reach that mark. Sid117 says, "Are you religious?" So this is something I've talked about a few times. Basically, I was not raised religious. When I sort of came into conservatism, I started to kind of open my mind more to the idea of a higher power, and I kind of became sort of like a deist with a little bit more of a Christian view of morality, and that's what I've been for a while. But very recently, I actually bought a Bible. Okay, and so I'm kind of like exploring the Christian faith right now. I wouldn't fully say I've like converted to being a Christian yet. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of exploring the faith a little bit right now. So that's where I am in my religious journey. So that's basically all I have for you. But you know, I'm kind of exploring it a little bit. All right. So yeah. We should collab on a Biden diss track. Dude, I haven't rapped in so... okay, true story. So you guys remember the Biden diss track. By the way, I don't have a good rapping voice, but like my lyrics are good, okay? Like I think that's a fair assessment of my own rapping. But the thing is, I haven't written in so long that when I tried to write lyrics, I was literally like terrible at it. It's like this acquired skill that I just lost from not using, and so I have to try to get it back before I make more Biden diss tracks. But let's do it. Let's do it. DeSantis 2024. Like I said, I would support. I've made a lot of positive videos about Ron DeSantis. In fact, I labeled him the best Republican politician in America, which I still believe to be true. But yeah, I would absolutely support DeSantis in 2024 or Trump. Obviously, they're not going to run against each other. It's, you know, if Trump runs, DeSantis is not going to run. If Trump doesn't run, then DeSantis will probably run. So it's really a false dichotomy to say like him or Trump. But I will say that, like, if I would fully get behind him, I would fully support him in the primary. I'd fully, you know, support him as a nominee. DeSantis, I think, is an amazing leader. I think he's very effective. I think that's, like, basically the best quality that he has going. Not the most charismatic guy. Like, yeah, he has passable charisma. I think he's really kind of coming to his own in that regard. But, you know, he's not the biggest talker out there. You have a lot more, like, flashy sort of people out there. Trump is one of them. But I think when you look at his record down in Florida, he's been very good on policy. He's been very effective as a leader. He gets stuff done. You know what I mean? And he doesn't get stuff done for the sort of old neocon agenda. He gets stuff done for the Trump sort of MAGA agenda, you know, and you see this a lot from DeSantis. So I would say, you know, I think he's a solid pick. Is he better than Trump or worse than Trump as a nominee? I think they both have their strengths, you know what I mean? So I always like dodge this question, but I really don't have a honest answer on who I think is like objectively the better candidate. I think that's something you'd have to decide as it gets closer. But I think DeSantis might beat Trump in terms of electability in some places. In terms of who would be a better president, you know, we kind of have to see how DeSantis's governorship continues to go on. But I think he's a very solid choice. Very solid choice. Trump shouldn't run in 2024 because he is already canceled by the media. No, this is not. I'm sorry. I condemn this line of thinking. Okay. Not to say that Trump won't have electability concerns that I think I've said many times. I think Ron DeSantis wouldn't have as much, but because he's canceled by the media, are you freaking kidding me? Whoever the Republican nominee is, unless they're like Nikki Haley or something, is going to be canceled by the media. The media is already trying to cancel Ron DeSantis, and they're struggling. But I mean, you look at CBS News; they ran an outright fake story about Ron DeSantis. You had a lot of news outlets blame Ron DeSantis for showing quote unquote vaccine favoritism to his political constituents. And guess what it was? It's because Ron DeSantis, as you guys know, in Florida has this policy of vaccinating, of vaccinating seniors first, which is not, that's just like common sense, right? I know the CDC says, well, you should, who cares? Shut up. Okay. It's common freaking sense that the seniors should get the vaccine first, right? So that's what Ron DeSantis has been doing in Florida. And I saw literal news articles try to imply or not apply, outright accuse Ron DeSantis of showing political favoritism to his own base. And their rationale for that was because, well, the elderly communities in Florida vote very Republican. So that must be the reason why Ron DeSantis is showing vaccine favoritism to those communities. I'm like, to quote Chandler Crump here, I don't feel sad. I don't hate liberals. I feel sad for them that they're mentally challenged, because how mentally challenged do you have to be to genuinely think that the reason why Ron DeSantis is prioritizing seniors with the vaccine is because the seniors vote Republican? No, it's common sense. The average age of death of coronavirus is like 77 or 81 or something like that. Okay, this is common sense. But the point I'm making here is that the media is already trying this with Ron DeSantis, and they're going to do this more with Ron DeSantis. That's not to say that because DeSantis doesn't have as crazy and sort of magnetic as a personality, that it will necessarily be effective as the media does with Trump. I definitely think Trump is more polarizing than DeSantis. But I think the idea that he shouldn't run because he's, quote, canceled by the media is just not a good statement, because whoever the Republican nominee is, again, unless they're a total like establishment shill, will be canceled by the media. And you know that basically when DeSantis runs, the media is basically going to try to say to like their constituents, hey, don't vote for him. He's just Trump 2.0. That's basically the attack they're going to make. So I think that's going to be something to consider. DeSantis has better rhetoric as a person. He is better. I mean, I'm not here to like judge moral characters versus one another. Well, I think that here's the thing, right? DeSantis is like a lot more low energy than Trump. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because the thing about Trump is because he's so energetic, he gets his really energetic support around him, and everyone like loves Trump. But on the same time, like on the other hand, right, on the other end of the spectrum, he has these people that like really, really hate him and wouldn't normally vote or really care that much, but now turn out against him. So I think that's the place where I think DeSantis overall would be a lower turnout candidate, right? He wouldn't get as many people to turn out for him as Trump would, but he also wouldn't get as many people to turn out against him, right? You know what I'm saying? So. Bro Kuro says, my dad is a normie con who watches PragerU. What is the solution to the problem of blue-pilled boomers? Here's the thing. I think an organization like PragerU has its uses, right? But I think it could be. I mean, I'm not really sure because I wasn't really red-pilled. Like I've said, I used to be like a liberal. I wasn't really red-pilled by like those organizations. I was actually red-pilled by Tucker Carlson. Like that was the person who like basically gave me my red pill. So I do know a lot of people who have basically been like convinced by organizations like that. And I guess if that works, it works. It's fine. But the thing is, I don't think that should be the ending spot for a conservative. If that makes sense. Perhaps these organizations are effective in getting people to initially come over to the side. Perhaps, like, I don't really know, okay, but if that's their function, that's their function. But the thing is, we have to stop making this the end goal of people. I think this is something that the Zoomers see, right? They'll kind of come in, initially they'll be kind of like a normie con, boomer con, and then they'll gradually grow into be more and more based. Sometimes they become more libertarian, which is not cool, but like ultimately they'll kind of come over to the right side, right? But I think that what you guys have to, but the problem with the boomers is because they're so stuck in their ways and they're kind of glued to the TV, right? They kind of just watch what's on TV and don't really, watch what's on the internet. Because you look at what's on Fox News, with the exception of Tucker. Tucker has a good show, but I also know a lot of boomers that don't like Tucker. I know a lot of boomers that genuinely prefer Hannity and Ingram over Tucker, and it's just such a head scratcher, right? But in general, what you see on places like Fox News are very, very, very astroturfed in comparison to what conservatism really should be, especially during the daytime, but just in general. And this is the problem. I don't think that that boomer cons mean poorly, right? I think they genuinely are open-minded sometimes, okay? There's also a lot of stubborn ones out there, but I think a lot of them are actually open-minded. But the problem is they don't have a lot of access to sort of the real populist right? They don't have the access to the base people. They're surrounded by blue pill people. Then they go on Facebook. What do they see on Facebook? Well, the things they see on Facebook are the organizations that are promoted on Facebook, right? And so these are like the same blue pilled organizations, whomst I will not name, but that have the donor money on their side to basically do those advertisements and are allowed to be seen by everyone. The problem is like us, we are not able to kind of do this for ourselves. I think if you really put us side by side, like let's just say, I don't know, name a establishment conservative sort of internet influencer, but boomer, that the one that like the boomers all like and watch online. I don't know. Come up with one, okay? But then compare it to someone like, I don't know, John Doyle, right? I actually, and at first I was like, this is always something I've thought about John. I'm like, I wonder if boomers could like see this and like be red pilled by this. I actually know friends who have told me like, oh, I showed my BoomerCon dad, John, or mom or whatever, John Doyle, and they were red pilled. And I was like, yo, no freaking way. So I think this is what we need to do. And I was very surprised by that, but I think this is what we need to do as like young conservatives that have like conservative parents that are like blue pilled BoomerCons. What we have to be doing is we need to tell our moms and dads who are conservative, mom or dad, stop watching Hannity and watch Tucker, okay? Because I know there's a lot of them that only like to watch TV, and so they don't want to see anything on the internet. So, okay, if that's the case, just tell them, please watch Tucker, no Hannity, okay? No Hannity, no Ingram. You need to watch Tucker from now on. And if they're open-minded to being on the internet, show them John Doyle. Show them like any like videos or red pilling videos you like. Just try it. Just go for it. We have to fix the BoomerCons, you guys, okay? They mean well. We love them. Most of them are parents or grandparents. But we need to get them on board with the true MAGA message, right? The original message of Trump. As I've talked about many times, that 2016 message, the real populist message, not the one that's astroturfed and watered down by the establishment into just some woke version of conservatism, but the real MAGA message is one that wins. But the thing is, the Zoomers, who I think we are the ones who are destined to save conservatism, but we don't have the power in the movement. We don't have the money. We don't have the numbers. We don't have just the base. We don't have any of it, right? So what we need to be doing, okay, is we need to tell our parents and our uncles and our grandparents who we actually generally agree with on politics, we need to be the ones that red pill them, okay? I think this is very important. The Zoomercons need to go to their moms and dads and say, Mom, Dad, look at this video. That's what we need to be doing. My parents love Tucker. That's great. That's amazing. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. You love to see it. We love to see it. LD says, have you heard of, are you even allowed to say his name on YouTube? Okay. I don't know if you're even allowed to say his name on YouTube, but have you heard of Nick from like that thing? I don't know if you're allowed to say that on YouTube, okay? But of course I've heard of him. Okay, of course I've heard of him. What would I live under a rock? Of course I know who he is. The thing is, all right, here, listen. I'm not here to like attack Nick or anything, but the thing about Nick, I don't know if that's like a guy that you show to like your parents or grandparents and they watch that and they're like, whoa, like convinced by that. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of an acquired taste. You know what I mean? That's why when I tell you like, talk to your parents. That's why I named Doyle specifically, because I think someone like Doyle or Tucker is someone who kind of has more mainstream appeal that you can actually show to like your average BoomerCon and they'll be like, that's a good point. Whereas Nick, he has a little bit of a youthful sense of humor about him that, I don't know how well it would go over with like the older people. So I think that in terms of mainstream appeal, that's all I'll say. Yeah. I red pilled my dad with Tucker. Now, every time I walk by him, he's on his phone watching him. So true. So true. Many such cases. I mean, here's the thing. You really just put them side by side. We make more sense. The populist right makes more sense. It's cooler. It's higher energy. It's more thought-provoking. It just makes more sense. It just seems more practical to save the country. We talk about the things that actually matter. We're not just here doing like Hannity doing the same show every night. We talk about the real issues going on in America, not just lower taxes. Like, okay, But the thing is, we have to expose our parents and our grandparents to this stuff. I think they're genuinely open-minded, most of them. There's a lot of boomer cons out there that just will never change, especially those that are like the donors. Okay, like those boomer cons, I don't know, might be a little bit of lost cause, but for those who aren't, let's go. Okay, let's try our best there. Why do you think Zoomers will save conservatism? Okay, I think it's because we just get it more than they do. As I've said many times, right? The future of conservatism, the Republican Party, of all of it, has to be populism, or you want to call it populism, paleo conservatism, but that sort of thinking, the new nationalist movement, or whatever you want to call it, right? 2016 Trump, that kind of message. Tucker Carlson throughout the since the Trump presidency began. Like that's the direction I think we have to go as conservatives. And I've talked about this many times. But if I've talked about also why this is like the reason why we need populism to win elections, and I've sort of broken it down, and a higher degree of sort of a sense of order and like social conservatism than we had. And I break this down, right? And I'm like, okay, Rust Belt, we need those states to win, white working class. That's our demographic here. So we need to be appealing to the white working class. And then you go in the South, it's like, oh, the Latinos. Well, the Latinos, how do you win those? No, you don't do it by just being cringe on immigration or whatever, because believe it or not, it is a lot of times it's Hispanics, it's minorities that are actually affected the most by mass immigration and hurt negatively the most. I think the way you have to do it is you have to play into the fact that a lot of these people are very Catholic, pro-God, pro-family, pro-tradition, right? And so you kind of mold it all together and you realize that the new conservative coalition is, let me just put it as simply as possible, economically populist, economically nationalist, economically sort of in a little bit of the center, if you know what I mean, and socially conservative. And I've shown that chart that basically shows the 2016 electorate. Now, with all that being said, you just look at where the sort of age demographics are in conservatism. Most Zoomers get it, okay? Which wasn't always the case before. But I kind of notice now, and don't get me wrong, there's different sort of factions of populism, but it's, in my opinion, as long as you're just not totally astroturfed and basically faking it for the votes, I think it's fine, right? We all sort of need to be moving together in this direction, and our end goal is our end destination is our end destination. The problem I see with the boomers and the older people a lot of times, and there are some that get it, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of them, they don't really get it. They're still kind of stuck in, they're not stuck in Bush anymore, don't get me wrong on that, but they're still kind of stuck in the Tea Party, right? It's all about the conservatism means limited government or lower taxes. No, it doesn't. Those might be policy positions that conservatives generally prescribe to, but that's not really what conservatism is, and that's not really what the central point of conservatism is. And it's like, you kind of just think about it. The difference between Tucker Carlson, and I'll use Fox News examples just so you can kind of see the comparison easiest, and people I guaranteed know. It's kind of the difference between Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. Tucker, and don't get me wrong, Tucker's not a Zoomer, but Tucker is more of a Zoomer con. This is sort of your profile of the average Zoomer con, where especially recently, we're kind of the populists in the conservative movement, whereas the boomer cons, sometimes in no fault of their own, are sort of more of still stuck in those Tea Party days. They're still kind of all about the liberty and the limited government and the stuff like that. And they're watching Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham instead of Tucker Carlson. And by the way, a lot of them Tucker Carlson is kind of ruling them over, which is good. But that's why I say the Zoomers will save conservatism, is because we're sort of the people like I know there are populist boomers out there, but I think in general, we're more focused and we're more sort of outspoken about the populism and, sort of the you could even say like the return to paleo conservatism than the boomers are. And so that's why I say it's us that have to save conservatism. It's us that have to go and tell their parents, what, like, listen, this is kind of where we need to be. And you could say I'm just being an arrogant young person who thinks I know everything, but like I said, we've gone over this before in videos. We've gone over, like, this is why populism is a winning electoral strategy. And by the way, not just an electoral strategy. It's not just about like winning elections or votes or whatever. There's also the aspect of like our civilization too, and this is something I often say a lot too, but conservatives do value things like liberty and freedom, and I value those too. But I also recognize that liberty and freedom cannot exist without order and without stability. Because what happens if you have a supposedly free society where everyone has all the rights to do whatever they want, and there's no sort of sense of central unity. First of all, just as a baseline level, there's no unifying principles, but kind of deeper than that, where the people are kind of totally immoral and all over the place and unstable. If you give, and there's a famous quote from one of our founding fathers: Constitution was made for a moral and virtuous people. If you give a bunch of, I don't know if I should say the D word, but I'll just say it, and we're kind of talking hypothetically here, okay? But if you give a bunch of degenerates just all the freedom in the world, are they going to build a strong society? Are they going to build a healthy society? No. And I think that in the long run, especially when you look at the state of society today, what's wrong with society? And a lot of conservatives might say the problem in our country right now is that our government's too big and the taxes are too high. And don't get me wrong, I think the government is too big. I think the taxes are too high. Like, I agree. But I don't think that big government, quote unquote, is the cause of the problems in America. Rather, I think it's a symptom, right? I think it's actually a symptom of our problems. I think because you have a society that, has sacrificed traditional social institutions, the family, the church, the local community, all that stuff, and basically replaced it with the government, basically replaced it with reliance on the government and reliance on sort of like these secular sort of social movements and trends and ideals and consumerism that just isn't really fulfilling on like a spiritual level to people. I think that's the reason why you sort of see that, people become more reliant on the government. There's a reason why Karl Marx wanted to destroy the family and basically was fundamentally for destroying the idea of the nuclear family. And the same reason why Black Lives Matter is in support of it. It's because Karl Marx believed that the family was the biggest threat to the state, the state or the workers or whatever, but it's really, it's really the state. And leftists have always believed this. Because when you have kids and you have a family, your first loyalty is to them, right? That's kind of like your first loyalty in life. I mean, I guess you could say, your religion comes first, but in the sort of physical world, right? Your first loyalty is your family. And so when you have sort of a family and you start a family, your loyalty, your first loyalty no longer just in general cannot be to the government. And, authoritarians, fascists and communists alike, don't, they want the government to be, they want that to be your only loyalty in life. And so when you look at, again, the size of the government today, this is something that a lot of conservatives sort of complain about. The size of the government today, and do you think that the growth in the size of government and just the growth of just bad ideas taking root in the government, do you think that's like disconnected from the decline in tradition and morality and families that you see? Because if you think it's disconnected, then you kind of lack common sense here, buddy. And so this is something that we really need to be kind of focusing on. If we want to shrink the size of the government, if we want to have like more freedom and liberty, we have to rebuild our middle class, our working class. We have to rebuild our sort of manufacturing base, or at least replace it with something feasible in the Midwest, that the parts of the country that Trumpism sort of initially appealed to, that have just been hollowed out and sort of destroyed and wiped out by globalization. And the reason I say that is because I firmly believe that a healthy sort of working class, a healthy middle class is ultimately necessary to create healthy families in society. And I think if you create healthy families and sort of return to a more socially conservative, traditionalist sort of society where people in general, not to say that everyone will always subscribe to it, but like more and more people sort of subscribe to a more traditional way of life, in turn, you will get the liberty that you want. You'll get the freedom that you want. You'll get the small government and lower taxes that you want, because people will, if people are having families, their first loyalty will be to families, and they don't actually want a big government basically coming in and intruding on it. But when you erode the family, when you tell women and men, your first duty should be to your job, don't have kids, start a career, don't get married, that'll just hold you down. When you don't give people that sort of meaning and that reward in life that comes from starting a family or following, a religion or church, when you take away all of that, it's very easy for people to see, well, I guess my loyalty is to the government or to the welfare or whatever it is. Very long-winded answer. But the long story short is that I think this is something that Zoomers see more than Boomers. Okay, I think I took like 10 minutes to answer that question. Whatever, who cares? But let's see. Okay, here's a good question. Worst conservative commentator. I have to think about that because there's like most of the bad ones I just don't watch. So it's like, who's the worst? I don't know. Does David Chapman count? I think he's pretty brain dead. I mean, he's more of an enemy of a Red Eagles channel than my channel. But I think he's pretty bad. I don't know if I say he's the worst. He's just like the worst one that comes off to my head because he's kind of been a recent rival of some of my friends. But I don't know. I really it's just hard to say. I mean, when I think here, okay, this is gonna be kind of a hot take. I guess I'll say Sean Hannity. Now, let me tell you why. It's not because Sean Hannity's really commentary is like the worst, but the guy does the same show every single night. I don't know if you guys have really noticed this, okay? But have you ever noticed that every single episode of Hannity is the same? And I don't know, maybe it's a little bit different now because Trump is no longer in president. I haven't really watched his show at all. But back when Trump was president, he literally would just do the same show every single night. Oh, the bombshell Russia gate. Oh, here we go. Oh, now the deep state's coming down. Same show every night. We have a bombshell new leak for you. It was like nothing. It was like the same leak from last night. And it's just redundant. He has the same show every night. It's boring. It's bad. It's not insightful. Now, not to say that he's the worst commentator out there that there is, but the guy is like primetime Fox, right? He has like such a huge viewer base. And that's why I say like pound for pound, when you look at it, it's like, and not the worst commentator out there, but the fact that he gets so many viewers just doing the same show every night where he doesn't really say anything, that's where I have to be like, And I don't get me wrong, I respect Sean Hannity. I'm not here to like diss anyone or anything like that. I think he's kind of like a legend, I guess, in the movement. But when you kind of look at him like currently now, I mean, what's going on, what his role is, it's like, come on, dude. Can you do a different show for once? Can you because you watch Tucker, you're like, oh, new stuff every night. There's a new monologue every night. Oh, Hannity just repeats the same one every night. I mean, come on, what's up with it? So. And like I said, I don't think he's the worst in terms of his commentary, but I think when you sort of weigh it out, the fact that he's so big and so massive, and that's what he does with it, that's why I guess I'll give that answer. I'll say the answer is Hannity to that one. So worst conservative. Well, yeah, I mean, this is true. Worst conservative, but. Would you even consider Bill Kristol to be a commentator? The Lincoln Project, but I don't even consider those people to even be able to entertain the idea of conservative. They might say, "Oh, we're the real conservatives." Yeah, shut up. No, you're not. Okay, you're literally not. I know we call it neoconservatism, but neoconservative. There's really nothing conservative about. I keep hiccuping because I ate some stuff. That was like 3 hiccups in a row. Did you guys see that? Can we get a replay on that? But there's really nothing actually conservative about neoconservatism, and actually the modern neoconservative movement. And this is something that Pat Buchanan. I was reading a Pat Buchanan book the other day. And I was like, that is I never even knew that. It's very interesting. The modern neoconservative sort of school of thought in America actually stems from Marxists. It was this sort of, you had this group of Marxists in America that kind of evolved into neoconservatives. And it was off of a lot of issues relating to foreign policy. So I don't even know if I could call them conservative, but I guess if you're going that route, I mean, yeah. But Cole Davis, I'm gonna play it safe with your question and not say it on YouTube, but like DM me on Instagram or something, and I'll like give you the answer to it. Okay, I gotta play. I don't want to get a guideline strike. Okay, with your question, but I just DM me. I'll answer your question. Okay. Can we get a Discord server link to celebrate your birthday? Yes, you can. Can we get a mod to drop the link to the Discord down in the chat or whatever? Let me know that. Hopefully we have mod. Do we even have mods? I hope we have mods in the chat. I don't even know. Let's see. If Eisenhower was not president, the PaleoCon movement would be the dominant conservative force. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Like I'm still like kind of learning the history of sort of these ideas, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think I would actually rather say that if Reagan, maybe, you know what I mean. But I think ultimately, if I don't know if I would put Reagan there necessarily. I should. It's kind of true. I think if Reagan, but to a greater extent, really H.W. Bush, but also Reagan. I mean, I don't think Reagan was a terrible president, but I think he set a lot of bad precedents for conservatives, and the sort of prominence of neoconservatism for like 3 decades was one of them, especially with his successor. Especially, I think if those people, and I don't really know who would have been the person to do it. But I mean, obviously, there's Buchanan. But I think if those people had really become were replaced by someone who was more of like a paleocon sort of populist kind of thinker, then we would be in much better hands. But I don't know, because Eisenhower, I don't think he was like the worst president, but there was also that debate, between with Buckley and the National Review and all that stuff. And I guess if that's what you're really talking about, like kind of during the Eisenhower years, then you're absolutely right there. Are swords considered a part of the Second Amendment? I would consider it to be that. I would consider that. Virals says, "Stop dodging my proposal, Mr. Dow. Will you marry me?" No, no, I will not. Okay, no, I will not. but you can simp all you like. I don't even know if you're a guy or a girl. But if if Robert Cat, okay, then that's what you're talking about. Then yeah, this is true. This part of it is true. So I guess that makes sense then. I was really more thinking of sort of conservatism in the more modern sense, because I think there are probably chances for the paleocons to sort of resurge. But this is definitely true then. If didgeridoo runs, is this a reference to that John Doyle video? I remember that was like one of the first Doyle videos I watched, and I was like, "This is hilarious." That one where he took like his friend took that didgeridoo to that Trump rally. If that's what you're talking about, I don't think he needs a running mate. I mean, who cares about the Constitution? Oh, the Constitution says you need a vice. Shut up, Constitution. Okay, stop being cringe. Didgeridoo doesn't need a running mate or cabinet or anything like that. I think didgeridoo can be his own running mate. I think he can be his own cabinet. I don't think he needs any of those other roles. The didgeridoo can save America on its own. Yes, didgeridoo. I fully support didgeridoo nationalism. Fully endorse. Fully avow. Okay, let's go. How old are you turning, Vince? I'm turning 18. This is actually my 18th birthday. So yeah, I'm assuming you just hopped into the stream. So why don't I show you some cute baby photos for those of you guys who weren't in the stream earlier. Look at this. Isn't he adorable? Okay. Look at that, huh? Look at that. Look, you can just tell right here that this baby is just based and red pilled. I mean, look, let's get a physiognomy check. He's got the I gotta take my sunglasses off. I can't really see. He's got the Chad middle fade, whatever this is right here. Okay, spiked up hair to show his true masculinity. Okay. You can see the size of his massive thighs right here. That's how you know he can deadlift a lot. And then let's see. Look over here. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's how you know. I mean, that is a face right there that has just owned the libs. I mean, truly. You know, you can tell, like, right here, he just dunked on some libtard, and he's like, yeah, I just did that. And then look at this. Look at this. He's shocked. Okay. He just saw our culture degenerate into literal Satanism, and he's just like, I cannot believe this. Okay, so pure Chad looks right here. Okay, I mean, this is his reaction to seeing. I don't know. This is his reaction to seeing Nikki Haley still be featured by conservative establishment organizations in 2021. I don't know if you guys saw that today, but yeah, very Chad, very based right here. And then take a look at this. No, it's not just peak physical performance. It's literally post physique. Okay, look at this. Look at him, huh? Let's get a physiognomy check right here. Look at it. Look, he's got that sharp Chad jawline that he now no longer has because he's like fat now. But look at this, and then just massive hands. Okay, massive hands. A sign of true chattery. Very flexible, as you can see. He's literally turning his feet like this. Very flexible. That's how you know he's a pro athlete right there. Just pure Chad right here. Passes the physiognomy check. Absolutely. Very large ears, but very small ear hole to show that he's not listening to your bullshit. And just pure post physique right here. Okay, post physique. Now I'm like fat and it doesn't work anymore. But right here, this is that was pure. That was my peak of chattery right there. Okay. He looks like this is so true. Okay, so true. He literally looks like a red pill. I mean, you can't look at that. Do you think? Well, the picture just came out of the frame. That's a rip. But okay, let's do these ones. Do you think this color scheme is an accident? No. I'm a literal red pill, okay? I'm literally a red pill torpedo, okay? They just throw me right into a Black Lives Matter protest to own the libs. So true. Many such cases. So true. So you're going to meet John Doyle in May at conservative Coachella. Yes, I am. It's going to be epic, okay? It's funny because I think John doesn't like barely know. I mean, like I've talked to him a few times, but John like barely knows who I am. And then a lot of you guys have been asking for like a Vince Dow John Doyle collab for literally months. I had people before I even like knew who he was. I had people asking for that collab. And then once I kind of found out who he was, I was like, this guy's freaking based. But yeah. I will be actually meeting him for the first time in May at conservative Coachella. So true. So true. Those eyes are ready to zap libs with lasers. So true. So true. So true. Don't come for Haley, dude. I wanted to say, what is cringe? Okay, cringe. DeSantis, yes. Nikki Haley's neocon establishment trash. Okay, we can go over why, you know, if you really want to have an argument here about Nikki Haley, but she's publicly. I mean, we kind of warned about this for a while because it was pretty obvious before, but she outright came out and said that Trump has no place anymore in the Republican Party, and like how much more transparent can you get with this? She's literally the establishment. She's the epitome of the old establishment. And I don't want to hear any, but she's a woman, so I think she'd be a good image for the ticket. No, okay. Firstly, I'm really skeptical of Kristi Noem too. But even Kristi would be a better female sort of VP I mean, and I'm against the whole line of thinking that female VP equals R plus 5 or no, it is not how it works. I mean, I don't think identity politics really works like that, at least for Republicans. But Nikki Haley, literally, like, I don't understand what's so special about her. Okay, socialism. We're really against socialism. You also notice her talking points. Her talking points are like literally everything I've been saying that conservatives need to stop. So let me repeat centuries old arguments about socialism, but I'm a young person saying no. As I've said so many times, yeah, socialism is bad. Okay, I agree. I'm not a socialist. Okay, anyone who knows my views knows I'm not. But socialism is not the issue we face today. Okay, it's actually globalism. Okay, that is basically like the question of the 20th century was socialism versus capitalism. Capitalism won, obviously. Berlin Wall came down. The issue of the 21st century is nationalism versus globalism. And this is why I say the Zoomers need to save the movement, because the Boomers grew up in they lived through the Cold War, and they're still kind of thinking in the socialist versus capitalist dichotomy. When you really look at it, and you really look at the sort of the reason why Trumpism rose in the first place, the issue we're dealing with is not of, do we have centrally planned economies or free market economies? The question is, does America specifically, and to a large degree, most Western nations, do those nations remain nations, nation states, defined by a certain place, by a certain people, with shared heritage, history, and culture? Or does the world basically turn into this great reset, into this like sort of de facto one world government where, there's really no solid idea of the nation? So open borders, that's a globalist policy, free trade, all this stuff. And really to an extent, culture too, right? I mean, everything, and I know this is kind of a crappy explanation, but I'm kind of like saving the real part where I do this for some content down the road. And so I don't want to I don't want to like give away all the talking points right now. But I will say that is really the question. And candidates that really talk about that stress nationalism over globalism, Americanism over globalism, not repeat the decades old arguments about socialism. That's what we need. Okay, we don't need Nikki Haley to make her millionth video about socialism for like the 10,000th time. Okay, that is not what we need. That is not what we need. Okay, Arizona Republican Party. I don't know if this is the official Arizona Republican Party, but the Arizona Republican Party says, "Happy birthday, Vince. Since you and me are both Asians, what does your family take on political affiliation? The identity politics from the left is utter insanity. Love your content." I do have Democrats in my family. I also do have a lot of people in my family that are literally just not political. But most of my family are conservatives, are Republicans. And like I said, there's people on both sides. But and then here's also something interesting. The immigrants in my family, there's a few that are like just totally lost. But most of the immigrants in my family are pretty hardcore conservatives. And it's actually like their kids, the younger kids kind of in my family that kind of are growing up to be the liberals. I guess I'd be the exception to that. I'm like one of the few kids in the family that actually like turned out and grew up in America, in sort of the West, and turned out conservative. Kind of a product of the education system and the pop culture. You could probably tell how that works. But that's sort of the divide. But I think I would say most like it's probably split like a regular American family. But I think there's more actually conservatives in my family than liberals for the most part. Like 65, 35, somewhere around there. Will Witt is coming to the college I am going to. Very nice, very epic. I actually like Will. Will is like a really cool guy, and he's actually he's pretty based. Did we get the Discord? I don't know if we got can we get some mods? Are there no mods in the stream tonight? What is going on here, folks? Well, come on now. I don't think do I even have the. Let me see if the Discord like linked or something so I could find it for you guys. See here. Maybe this might be my Discord server. Nope, it's not the Discord server. It's something else. Oh shoot. Yeah, come on, mods. I have no mods in the chat, really. Okay, here we go. I believe this should be it. Let's see here. Let me make sure it's the right one. Okay, here we go. Okay, here you guys go. So here's a Discord server, you guys. Drop a link in chat right there. There you go. There you go. Okay, happy. There you go. There you go. Um let's see here. All right, let's check out some other questions. Sid 1117 says, "What is the goal of the APU and do you want to replace TPUSA?" We're not trying to replace anyone necessarily, okay? I believe every organization can do what every organization does. That's what I'll say. But I think the goal of APU is to fill in the gap that I really believe is missing with conservative organizations. You know, I really look at it. Every single conservative organization is stuck in, like, at best, sort of the Tea Party orthodox. At worst, they're full on George Bush. But they're like I've said, they're stuck in sort of this. Well, the most important thing, all we want to talk about is free markets and limited government and low taxes and all that stuff. That's like every single conservative organization. The goal of the APU is to basically represent the populists and the paleo conservatives, national populists, nationalists. If you want to call it the new right, them too. I mean, I know there's like sort of a debate going on, but you get what I'm saying, right? This sort of faction of the movement. The goal of the APU is basically to be like the organization for those people, and so that's not. I don't know if I would say we're trying to replace anything, but I think I am saying that we want to let the best ideas win, and we believe that we are the future, that the populists, the paleo conservatives, are the future of the movement and are the future of conservatism. And I think it is ultimately us that in the long run, okay, will sort of own the future, because I think it's sort of inevitable that that these ideas rise and that these ideas become popular, because personally I firmly believe that these ideas are better, they're more attractive, and they work. Okay, they work much better than the conservative orthodoxy of old. Now, if the old conservative establishment organizations, and I'm not naming anyone in particular here, I'm kind of talking in general, if they want to sort of retain their place at the top, then, and I'm talking about like just in general, then I think they have to really adapt the new sort of populist right, and sort of, change their rhetoric, change their style, change their approach. And I think if they don't, then I think an organization like APU basically owns the future. So, and for those of you guys who don't know, American Populist Union is a new organization that I'm co-founding. I'm the chief spokesperson of, and it's basically like, in the online digital sphere, it's like the populist paleo conservative counter to those organizations. And what we hope to do with the organization is, we want our side to be mainstream, and don't get me wrong, it's very fun to be anti-establishment and all that stuff, but we don't want to just be seen as like, the fringe or the anti-establishment, or we need to be the new conservative establishment. Okay. We don't just want to talk. We want to actually control. We actually want to, own the future. And so I think the goal of the organization really is to become that new mainstream. And, whatever that kind of does to other groups in the way, I mean, that's kind of how it goes, right? But I have nothing against necessarily anything against these organizations personally. And I think they have their uses. Don't get me, that's something I sort of conceded earlier. Like, they kind of have their uses, but I think that an organization like ours is much more poised to win the future than they are. Okay, and that's all I'll say. Okay, that's all I will say as the chief spokesperson of APU. And you'll meet our team pretty soon. We have a pretty stacked team of contributors and sort of ambassadors going. It's going to be pretty epic once we get started next month. And I might give you a slightly different answer, but that's my answer. Okay, that's my answer to your question here. Okay. Doge nationalism, so true, so true. Vince, I have to say, your glasses are looking good. Dude, these glasses are literally supposed to be a joke too, because they're like cheap parties. Yes, Party City, made in China. I bought these a long time ago. Okay, get off my ass. But Party City, made in China ass glasses. I literally was like, oh, these look like party glasses. It's the birthday stream. Let's just throw these on. But I appreciate the fact that you think they do look good. Um, We need to take back the schools. I'm sick and tired of them brainwashing the kids. So this is so true. This is like one of the most important things I think conservatives need to do. And I think that's the problem with this sort of old style of conservative thinking. Well, we should just really abolish the Department of Education and just let all the local communities decide. That's not going to fix the school system. Maybe it'll make the academics sort of improve a little bit, the test scores, but it won't stop the leftist indoctrination. I think conservatives actually have to wield power themselves. We need to we need to actually take the school system for ourselves. It's not enough to simply say just decentralize it, just delocalize it. That's not going to do anything. We have to actually be changing the curriculum. 1776 commission style. That's sort of what the direction we need to be moving in. I think it's literally like one of the most important things we can do as conservatives, and I don't want to dispute that. Will Florida stay red despite the huge influx of blue staters? The thing is, I think that a lot of the blue staters, okay, let me tell you why this is sort of different. A lot of these tech people and all that stuff moved from California to Texas because, good job there, cheap to live there, right? And because that's not like direct enough, these low IQ brains don't think to themselves, whoa, the reason I'm escaping California is because of liberal policies. They don't see it like that, right? The thing is, if you've left New York or whatever for Florida in the last however many months, right? You explicitly know that you left because of COVID restrictions. You hate them, you hate the lockdowns, and that's the reason why you left, right? So I think that the thing is that I feel like it's like the blue staters that might be coming into Florida are a little bit more like along party lines and drawn along party lines. And I guess that's something that I think kind of to think about, you know what I mean? But we'll see. I think it's a little bit more safe than a state like Texas because of the type of out-of-staters that are coming over. It's not just tech companies coming because Tesla moved to Texas or whatever. It's people actually coming here actively fleeing lockdowns, right? And I think that's there you go. I think the APU is awesome. Finally, people on the right are actually pushing back instead of being pushed by the left for so long. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, we haven't officially launched yet, but we're now sort of active on our social media. So be sure to follow us right now we're on Instagram and Twitter. We'll get on YouTube pretty soon, but just kind of trying to get everything in order. Follow us right now at Populist Union. Okay, at Populist Union on IG and Twitter. Okay. Goose AFK says, "What's up, King? Want money?" Well, I'm not saying I'm not demanding money, but it is indeed my birthday. So if you'd like to send me money to finance buying cryptocurrency and guns, I would very much appreciate that. That'd be very epic. That'd be very based. Okay. And like I said, guys, whatever's easier for you. But if you do want to send me a birthday gift, you can send it through YouTube, through the super chat, obviously, but also consider that YouTube does take like a portion of the super chat. All the money doesn't go directly to me, and I don't know if you want to give money necessarily to the globalists. So if you want to send money to me directly, I have my Cash App and Venmo and stuff in the link down in the description. So if you prefer to send it through that way, because it takes a little bit longer, but you're not giving money to YouTube, you could do that as well. Goose AFK says, "Go buy Doge. We love you." Also, rest in peace, Goose. Thank you very much. And I agree. Rest in peace, Goose. Thank you very much for the birthday gift, Goose. You've kind of been a legend to this channel for a while. So thank you very much. Vince, this is so true. I am once again asking for your financial support. All right. Listen, guys. You guys know I don't have like some big donor organization funding me, okay? Like I have my own organization, but like I can't just fund myself. So, you want to send me a birthday gift, help me buy some guns or something. Very much appreciate it, you guys. Does Vince have a girlfriend? Yes, I do. Um, some of you guys should know her. I've like reposted her a few times. Um, how can populist Zoomers be effectively outspoken, specifically in college? Here's the thing. I've noticed that for a lot of people, populism is not the way they enter conservatism. Now, it is true of some people. Like me personally, like I've said before, Tucker Carlson was really my big political influence that got me to leave the left. That's not really typical, but I was just like, you're right, you know? And I think for older people, a lot easier, right? You know what? Actually, that's not. I'm gonna I'm gonna go a totally different answer because the more okay. total 360. You know what? Don't scratch that. Forget everything I just said. Okay. I actually think that the populist brand, and I know this is totally contradictory, but I was just kind of thinking of like how people usually enter the movement. And then I realized it doesn't have to be like that. So that's kind of why I'm just totally flipping my answer here. Okay. I think that actually, have these debates of ideas, not just with other conservatives, which you should. I mean, I think that should be target number one. Tell all the normie cons who probably genuinely mean well. You got to red pill them. You got to get them away from the libertarian market stuff and more toward the populist stuff. You know what I mean? So that's step one. And engage with them. If you have, I don't know, if you have chapters of like establishment conservative organizations at your school, don't hate on them. Don't ignore them. Go to their meetings. Talk respectfully. Talk with them. And I think there are a lot of people. And by the way, I know a lot of kids who run these chapters that are secretly, and they kind of will toe the party line because they want to get funding for the chapter from the central organization. But I know a lot of ones that are like secretly like super based and like super, they've taken the populist pill, they've taken the paleo pill. I'm like, very epic, very cool. But go to these meetings and talk with them, and don't approach it respectfully, because I think you have to understand that I think a lot of people who are boomer cons, especially young ones, genuinely mean well. They're just misguided. But approach it like that. But also, I think a lot of people, and like I said, I know I said earlier that like the sort of establishment brand of conservatism may serve as an effective gateway into the movement. But I also think that we shouldn't rule out the sort of the populist message as being an ineffective gateway into the movement, And maybe there are some issues that it's like kind of like your average liberal, maybe it's not the best thing to sort of start off with them. But I also think, and specifically, the sort of working class message, blue collar message. Oh, we got to bring our manufacturing home. We should be self-sufficient as a country. We should rebuild strong families. We should put Americans first. And there's some people that are just a lost cause. But I actually think to an extent, if approached correctly, the populist message is actually more appealing to get your average liberal, whatever, to walk away than actually the sort of establishment free market, limited government message. Because, and the thing about this, a lot of liberals sort of see conservatives and conservatism as sort of uncompassionate, right? So they just sort of they think conservatives hate people. And by the way, I'm not saying like you could just erase the stigma, because I think they genuinely believe that. But I think that the populace, but I think that the old limited government doctrine, the Ben Shapiro doctrine of, well, you know what? That's the market for you. You know what? People dying of opioids, that's just the market. Oh, he made a really bad decision one time in his life and his life got ruined. Well, that's personal responsibility. Populism, on the other hand, and the sort of paleoconservatism, to quote Tucker Carlson, and it's not to say that we don't believe in personal responsibility, all this stuff. That's like, it's a conservative value, personal responsibility. But we also sort of see our nation more like, to quote Tucker Carlson, more like this family, right? And so we're not I don't consider myself to be a total collectivist, but I also don't consider myself to be a total individualist either, right? Because I think we do have a duty as a society, as a country, to sort of have sort of a bond and sort of a caring for one another. And I think that the hyper individualist sort of Ayn Rand philosophy is I don't just think it's destructive, but I think, oh shoot, Chandler's in chat. Let's go. He says, "Big birthday moves, big god, big dog, big god." That's heresy. No, big dog. Thank you very much, Chandler. What's up, my guy? How you doing? I just slipped on my chair. Thank you very much, Chandler. What's up? How you doing, man? R. Frank Bass says, "Do you know if the conservative Coachella, that's the event with Doyle and stuff, which also we might try to get Chandler there. I don't know if we're gonna have enough funding for it, but we're working on it too. But do you know if conservative Coachella will be on your YouTube or also behind John's comradeships? I can't speak for John. I don't know what John's gonna do with his content. But there will be a Zoom link for people who can't make it to the thing. There'll be sort of a Zoom link or broadcast or something for the event that you can watch. You have to go register though. You have to go register for the event and get into the Telegram group. And so talk to, what is it, Turning Point Towson or George Mason College Republicans. I don't know. Talk to them about it. But also I do plan at a later point to post my speech to YouTube, to this channel. With that being said, I don't know what John's going to do with his speech, so you might want to ask him about that, or just try to get registered for the broadcast so you can see the whole thing. Because I don't know if he's going to save his speech or whatever with that. Where can we watch it? You got a link on my story to register. On my Instagram story, I think it's still there. Use that. And it'll put you in the Telegram group or something, I think, and you can register. You can register through there. What's the conservative Coachella? Oh, it's this event we're doing in it's near Harper's Ferry, I think. I don't even know, but it's an event we're doing in Maryland in May. It's going to be we're not we're doing, but this Turning Point chapter and this College Republicans chapter in the local area is throwing this event, and I'm going to be speaking there. John Doyle is going to be speaking there, and most of the weekend, I guess, will be a get together for them. But we're part of the featured speakers list. You know what I mean? And there've actually been, I shouldn't even say this, but there've actually been some problems getting Doyle to speak. I'm not going to get too much into that, but long story short, you're not gonna cancel my boy John, okay? Very, very uncool, very unepic. But yeah. Okay. I was talking about Ayn Rand before I got. Okay, this is what I was saying. What was it even in the? Oh, okay, yeah. So, and I'm not. Let me plug in my computer actually before I get started on this. But I'm not saying necessarily that you're going to just convince every liberal out there, especially every liberal college kid. In fact, you're probably not even going to convince most of them. But I actually think that the populist message is a little, actually, we actually share, I think, a little bit more, and not really on the social stuff, but on some of the economic stuff and whatnot. We actually do share a little bit more in common with them than your average, Ayn Randist objectivist, because of the fact that on issues especially on issues like the trade and manufacturing and stuff like that. You remember from 2016, and not so much anymore, but remember in 2016, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump were actually agreeing. What the hell? Hold on. Oh my God, stupid plug. Like I was saying, they were actually agreeing on some of these populist issues. What the hell is going on here? All right, hold on. My power outlet is being a little bit mentally challenged here. I'm just gonna have to go on this side. But that was a fail. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. Let me see. Someone says, okay, let's see. Vince, do you think Idaho will always be conservative? I'm going to answer that while I plug this in, because I want to be actually focused for this other question. Do I think Idaho will always be conservative? Oh, I think it's going to be like that for a while. Who knows what will happen in like, a lot of these unsettled states. I think, as sort of the country expands outward and stuff like that. You never know. Maybe some major industry or something will move to Idaho one day. I mean, I don't know. I don't know necessarily what industry, but decades down the line in the future, you might see like this economic shift, like you see in Texas right now, right? All these tech companies are moving to Texas. The film production companies and the media companies are moving to Georgia. You have just a lot of miscellaneous sort of stuff moving to Florida. And Tennessee, by the way, that's another state that people kind of miss with it. So it is indeed possible, I believe, that same thing happens to Idaho. So I don't want to say it will always be conservative, but I think you don't have to worry for at least a few decades. I think you'll be fine for a very long time. Anyways, back to the Ayn Rand thing. I actually think that to your average liberal, the populist message is actually, if framed correctly, now you got to frame it correctly, all right? Don't go full 1924 Immigration Act like on them off the bat, you know what I mean? But I think that there are a lot of sort of like populist talking points, populist issues that resonate more with the average liberal than sort of the old socialism, all this kind of narrative. So honestly, I think that there actually is a place for populist conservatives and paleo conservatives to talk directly to liberals. I know it's often sort of seen as like, oh, the neocons are like the entry level, and then once you're in here, we can red pill you. But I actually think that it could also, and not necessarily like your average hardcore liberal, but kind of like your average college student who leans liberal because they think that's what they're supposed to do, but doesn't really, think deeply. I think it actually might be a more convincing message than a less convincing message. So. Gerald Coe says, viewer from Singapore over here, are you still going to be involved with Prager Force? Also, how much value do you think PragerU provides for today's conservative movement? Like I said, I'm not dissing any big organizations or anything like that at this time. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think that an organization like PragerU has its uses. I think that, and like I said, I'm kind of going at this thing that, like, I have a theory that the populist message actually might be more effective, but I think that, an organization like that with that kind of infrastructure, it has its uses, it has its effect of, reeling people in to the conservative movement. I'm not necessarily against that, but like I said, I just believe that there is sort of a new, and not necessarily just with my organization. I mean, maybe my organization doesn't work out, but I think in general, there's a new movement towards something different. And if establishment organizations, or what I would call, I mean, I know some of them are like only a few years old, but they basically become seen as establishment organizations. If they don't adapt to this rising tide, then I don't know how much if they're going to really have any role in the conservative movement within 5 to 10 years. But regardless, who cares? Sort of a let the best man win kind of thing. So, I'm happy to work with or talk with any organization who wants to give me or my ideas a platform. You know what I mean? Because I think that's very important too. You don't want to just be appealing to one group of people. I think you want to be bringing in new people, and wherever they come from, that's and so long as they are subscribing to your ideas, that's fine. But so I'm happy to be given a platform if that's what an organization that's sort of seen as like an establishment organization wants to do. But you never know. I don't know. It's called gatekeeping. We do a little gatekeeping. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm not here to like right off the gate start war. Okay. Which is not to say that I'm gonna like just ignore, what the things that the establishment says, because our organization is fundamentally meant to counter those things. But I firmly believe there is a place where we can have a respectful conflict, okay, without the blacklisting and all the nonsense. But stuff happens, okay, stuff happens. But anyways, Hi Hello says Reagan banned machine guns, gave amnesty to illegals, hollowed out labor unions, and was against tariffs and protectionism. He was not a good conservative. I actually agree with you. I agree with you. I think this is true. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Reagan necessarily was like a terrible president, but I think he's very, very overrated, right? And he really did govern more as a neoconservative than as a paleoconservative, And to be completely fair, HW was a lot worse on the issue, but yeah, I do think Reagan was an overrated conservative, and I think that the reason why he's liked so much, and he did preside over a good economy for the most part. And that's always something that when you're gauging a president, you're like, okay, good metric, good job. I think that to a large degree, the reason why he's so basically nostalgically looked up to among sort of boomer cons, right, is the fact that they lived through the 80s, they grew up through the 80s, and the 80s were a great time, and they were a great time in America. You sort of had this cultural resurgence. America sort of took back its place in the world after like a stagnating 70s, both culturally, economically, militarily, like all that stuff, right? And Ronald Reagan is sort of seen as the figure of the 80s, a decade that a lot of people look back upon favorably. And I think that's why Ronald Reagan is so loved. Because he's like a figurehead of the 80s, and maybe that's not always a bad thing. But I think when we actually break down Ronald Reagan's policy record, okay, good economy, so what? I mean, I'm not so what, but when you really, I see a lot of people rank him as like one of the greatest presidents of all time. You got to look a little bit deeper than how good the economy was, right? And there were a few recessions during the Reagan years too, so it's not like it was all sunshine and rainbows, right? Break it down. And, Ronald Reagan did a lot of bad things that set really bad precedents that like modern conservatives still have to fight with, whether it's, like you said, banning machine guns or the amnesty to illegals, which actually incentivized more illegal immigration into our country. And basically, he set that precedent. And not a lot of the problems you have now with illegal immigration today, not to say that Ronald Reagan is responsible for all of them, but that amnesty bill really kind of set the tone for that, And obviously on the issue of trade and, protectionism, like you mentioned, that's another thing, right? Ronald Reagan was a total free trade guy. And we often blame Bill Clinton for NAFTA because Bill Clinton's the one that signed it. But it's actually Ronald Reagan that did most of the initial work on that trade deal. I mean, it was his idea. Bush kind of worked through it, and then it was Bill Clinton who signed it. I believe NAFTA was signed in, like 1992 or not 92, but like 93, 94, right? It was signed like very quickly as soon as Bill Clinton was in office. Bush and Reagan did most of the negotiating for it. So it was really more their trade deal actually than it was Clinton's. And obviously Clinton signed it, so he supported it. But a lot of bad precedents that were set. I'll give him some slack on the foreign policy front, right? I guess that is something I sometimes forget. That is also his really good contribution. Kind of, he did help bring down the Soviet Union, right? And that's something you do have to give him credit for. I guess that's his crowning achievement. But you guys know I'm an isolationist, but it's hard to gauge post Cold War policy, foreign policy with post Cold War policy, because I think you're in like two different situations. But when you look domestic, but that's not what usually you hear a lot of these conservatives praise him for, right? What they usually praise him for is like, whoa, he was really good. He was good on small government and taxes and stuff like that. Well, Ronald Reagan actually increased the size of government. I mean, that's something that he's very praised by. You see a lot of quotes that all the boomer cons and their organizations share. I see this one a lot. You can probably see this one too. It's a very famous Ronald Reagan quote that's like, well, the worst words in the English language are, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help, right? Stuff like this. Always talking about Ronald Reagan, how much he loved small government. But Ronald Reagan in office actually increased the size of government. And you can say, well, it's because he had to deal with a Democratic Senate and Congress and all that. Okay, fine. Okay, I guess. But your basically like deifying him because of this small government doctrine that he didn't even follow through as a conservative. Why is he seen as so great? And I always forget, the reason I always kind of forget to mention the Cold War thing, which I do give him credit for, is because that's not what they usually mention when they're talking about his legacy. And that's the thing. When they're talking about his legacy, they usually talk about his 11th commandment of conservatism, which is a really stupid commandment, by the way. Well, really stupid commandment. And if you kind of support Trumpism, you'll know why it's actually good to attack other Republicans, other conservatives, because we actually need to have, this whole idea of a big tent where, it doesn't really matter what you believe. We can all have these huge disagreements on policy and all come together. It doesn't work like that, because you have to have some type of unified, coherent message. And don't get me wrong, there can be like small disagreements here and there. But if you have like polarly opposite people within the party, within conservatism, that are just, live and let live. Don't criticize another conservative. Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, right? Then you have this totally jumbled up nothing of a party that, like, if people are all over the place and you ask the what do Republicans believe? Who knows what they believe? Who knows what conservatives believe? Because they're so all over the place, and we can't criticize neocons or whoever it is, because Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, I think, was very stupid. And so the things I usually see Reagan praised for, I kind of look at it and I'm like, real head scratchers, in my opinion. I think he's a very overrated president. Very, very overrated president. I don't know if I can necessarily say he was a bad president, because he did preside over a lot of good stuff. So I think you look at him in history, he's generally seen as like a positive president, but as like a good conservative, and as the person that conservatives should be seeing like as their sort of ideological godfather and role model in the modern day, as many do. No, not by a long shot. So thank you very much for the $5 though. DK says it's your birthday. Happy birthday from Canada. Thank you very much, DK. Very cool. Very epic. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Donnie Gardner says, how are you so based? I don't know. I don't know. You have to answer that question for yourself. I don't know. I guess I'm just I'm very observant. You know what I mean? Like I don't actually do a lot of things, but I'm very like observant of like the things I hear. I question. I sort of like to try to think things through. You know what I mean? And that's sort of how I ended up at this position. I think a lot of people have, but the problem is I think there's a lot of people who kind of just stop. They become red pilled, kind of like I always think that there's two tiers of the red pill. The first red pill is basically like you just kind of walk away and be a free thinker, quote unquote, as a lot of the people like to say. I'm a free thinker, guys. Look, guys, I have a free thinker t-shirt. I have a free thinker t-shirt. Let's go. I'm such a free thinker, guys. And it they give you these like bullshit, like fence sitting talking points. Like, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Okay, I'm just being stupid. No, seriously. I think the first red pill you take is where you kind of just get into that like gateway entry level sort of conservative from the left. And some people really never have to take the red pill because they're kind of just raised up in that. But I think there's the second red pill. I don't know, you want to call it the crimson pill or whatever, but I think there's a second red pill where you kind of really wake up, right? You take the populist pill or the paleo pill, whatever you want to call it, consider it. And that's when you really start to realize like what conservatism is really about. And are just like, okay, now I really get it. Now I understand populism. Now I would consider myself to be a paleo or a populist, whatever. I don't remember the question I was answering. I'm literally just talking at this point. What question was I don't even remember what I was talking about. Like I just went on this. What did someone say? Oh, how are you so based? Okay, that was the question I was answering. I think the problem is a lot of people don't take that second red pill because they just don't think. If you really think things through, you'll see the problem with like this establishment doctrine of conservatism. You'll see it. You'll be like, because these are issues that I just thought about like on a really basic level. Like now I read like Pat Buchanan books and stuff like that. But this is not how I was introduced to it. I really didn't, I heard some commentators sort of put it into my head too and kind of heard what they had to say. But I also sort of just thought about it with my common sense. I was like, okay, because I spent so long defending like the libertarian orthodoxy, the libertarian worldview for a while. I was like, okay. So I like, and this is like really, really one of the things I was really like my first red pill. And I was just thinking this to myself. I was like, I like small government. I think small government makes a lot of sense. I always wondered this. I was like, how does this not make sense to people? This is just like so common sense. Why do we not have a small government? And I was like, a lot about it. I was like, I really like liberty. I wonder why we really don't have it. And then I kind of realized that thing I talked about earlier in the stream. I was like, well, come to think of it, if you don't have a society with morality, with order, how do you create liberty? You know, because liberty is not just the total freedom to do whatever the hell you want. You're not truly free in a society that's just full of chaos. Liberty must exist with order, right? You have to actually be protected, not just from like government and stuff like that, or from physical danger, but also from your vices, from all of that type of stuff too, in order to have liberty, right? And so you can't have liberty without order. Liberty without liberty without order is just pure chaos. So I started to realize this. I was like, okay. And then I was like, we always talk about the importance of strong families as conservatives, but we don't actually. Why do we never actually like care? You know what I mean? Because I was like, yeah, I'm very pro life, right? I'm against abortion, and I firmly believe that people should be getting married and having kids. And I was like, why aren't people doing that? I really like ask myself, some of it's just cultural. They just have bad ideas put into their head. But also considered like maybe there's sort of an economic side to it too. Maybe we have an economy that doesn't really make it easy or doesn't favor having kids, right? I mean, the economy does not incentivize having kids. Especially, but it's kind of was a cultural side to it. Like, whoa, because people used to sort of see getting married and having kids as like their greatest reward in life, and now they've kind of been taught that, well, no, it's just holding you back. It's like wasting your time or whatever. Not true. So there's that component. I think there's also the component of there's just sort of this sense of a stagnating economy. Young people leave school with a ton of debt and just not really a way to pay it back. It's just not that easy to start a family in America anymore. It's not to say that you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, but it's not really as easy as it used to. My grandparents had a much easier time starting a family than I will have, right? And so I was like, maybe there's a role for the government to actually help with this. Not to say that there's not a cultural side of it too, and that a lot of it will just have to be one on the cultural front. But what if the government actually sort of tried to incentivize starting families? Let's talk about the issue of like abortion. And this is something liberals say a lot too. You're kind of like, you're not really pro-life. You're just pro-birth because you don't care about the child or the family once it's brought into the world. And it is true. There's a lot of conservatives who are just like, well, it's her fault that she had sex unprotected. Now she has to deal with the consequences. Sure. I mean, that's true. I believe in personal responsibility. But that's not also to say that, why shouldn't the government, and I'm not saying we should just like totally incentivize responsibility, but why shouldn't the government kind of also come and say like, it's okay that you have this kid? And we want to create a system that makes it easier for you to actually live the true American dream. I don't think the true American dream is, making a bunch of money in a business or something like that. I think the true American dream is like, getting married, having kids, and raising your family in like this stable nuclear family safe household, where you can raise your kids and your family in peace, in stability, with liberty, and like I think that's the real American dream, right? And the economic aspect of it, like the economic side of the American dream, that's basically just a way like, oh, you find your passion and you find work and you find the way to economically sustain and support that family, right? I don't know where I'm really going with this. but It is to say that like these are the things I sort of started to realize, and that's sort of what turned me more into like of this populist or paleo, whatever like label you want to use. Because I the reason I don't stick strongly to the labels is because a lot of people have like different connotations in their head for what they mean and what they are, which is why I kind of like just try to keep as kind of vague as possible. And like I want you to hear what I'm saying, you know what I mean? But this is where I kind of got red pilled. That took forever. I didn't even finish because I was just like I'm like literally boring people, aren't I? Okay, I was literally just like, you know what? I just talk about bullshit for too long. But there you go. That got really deep. Indeed, it did. Indeed, it did. Oh, hold on, my camera died, so I got to switch out the battery. So I'll be frozen for a few seconds, but you guys can still hear me, so we're all good. All right, let's see what else you got in the chat here, questions and stuff like that. Vince has ingested so many red pills, he's become the red pilled dispensary. So true, so true. Many such cases, so true. Okay, so true. I agree, 100%. Many such cases. 4Z and whatever with Pepe profile says, "Hi Vince, hi man, how you doing?" Bill Clinton was more based on some social issues, believe it or not. This is, you know, you look at Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton would not. And people always talk about JFK. JFK would not be JFK would be a conservative today. Whatever. Okay, sure, maybe. But I think a lot of people kind of don't overlook the fact that look at the more recent Democrat, Bill Clinton. And it's not to say that he'd be like a total Republican today, but he really wouldn't fit in with the Democratic Party of today, like at all. He had, in comparison to now, he had some pretty socially conservative stances, you know, and some pretty economically populist, and not obviously not the trade issue. He is NAFTA president at the end of the day, but a lot of like policies that are, you know, kind of look at it, you're like, you know, he really wouldn't fit in with the party today. I actually remember a few months ago I was watching one of the presidential debates, 1996, right? So it was Dole versus Clinton. I was watching this presidential debate, and it was very kind of shocking to me. But I was watching and I was like, you know, I think in this election I might have actually voted for Clinton over Dole, you know, because I actually found myself agreeing more with things that Clinton said than Dole. Not to say I agreed with everything Clinton was saying, but I was kind of just like, this is very interesting. And also Dole was just like a totally low energy, very boring, very not very great guy to listen to either. And I guess that is kind of why the old Republican Party has that stereotype. But I really don't think Clinton would fit in today at all with the Republican Party, with a modern Democratic Party, and I think that's also a huge reason why you don't see him really comment on a lot of issues at all. I mean, he was down with Hillary when Hillary ran for president, but overall, I think if it weren't for Hillary, you know, Clinton would not really have a role at all in the modern Democratic Party, and in many ways, I don't think he really does in general. And I'm not like a Bill Clinton fan or anything. I think the guy's a creep and a pedophile and a rapist and not like I'm not so like fall into the slave morality where I'm gonna say he was a good president or something. But it is to say that I don't think as like an ideologue or anything he actually blends in with the Democratic Party of today. I mean, he really doesn't. It's kind of interesting to see. So, all right, we're back online here, folks. So how we doing, guys? My cousin thinks that communism is a good system of government. Oh boy. And Trump is the worst president in American history. Can he be embassoned or is he too far gone? I don't know if you can do. I think someone like that. You know, you kind of talk about this with like drug addicts and like mentally ill people and stuff like that. In order to be helped, you have to first want the help, right? This is something that's true of addiction and stuff like that. I think that's where your cousin is. They're so far gone to it's like they can be helped, but they have to want to be helped. and they sound like they're very stubborn and they're very far gone into where they just don't want to be helped. You have to want it. Okay? You don't want it? I don't know what we can really do for you. So I don't know. All right, let's see. Let's see what else we got going on in chat here, guys. Yeah, exactly. He's got to want to take the red pill. You got to do it yourself. We can help you. We can help you with the ideas and stuff, but ultimately you have to be the one that subscribes to it, right? So, all right, let's see what else we got in this chat right now. Connector says, "Happy birthday, Vince." Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, guys. And also, like I said, I'll reiterate: if you would like to send me birthday gifts, send it through the super chat, y'all. Or if you don't want to, if you want the money to go directly to me and not to YouTube, you can also send me cash. My Cash App and my Venmo's in the link in my bio. I mean, not, I'm so used to saying that in my description, but I want to use it. I can finally open up my own investor account, so I want to buy a bunch of cryptocurrency and Dogecoin and stuff like that, and then cash out there, buy a bunch of guns. That's epic. That's so Chad right there. So yeah, if you'd like to donate to my M1 Grand Fund and all that stuff, let's get it. My sister is oh no, she's not too based. She's just not based at all. Okay, libertarians are not based. Not true. Okay, libertarians have hijacked the term based a lot, but it really is not it does not originate from libertarianism. So no, not too based. She needs to move up. She needs to get into that authoritarian right quadrant. Let's go. No. And there are so many like easy arguments against anarcho-capitalism too. It just I don't care. I don't even care. I'm gonna just say this, okay? A lot of people that come up with their books and their studies, like, well, here's a 50-point dissertation on why anarcho-capitalism would actually work. No, shut up, idiot. Okay, shut up, idiot. It doesn't work. You can't just abolish the government and expect things to go smoothly. People need the government. It's common sense. Okay, I don't care how many. And the same thing is true with communism. They're like, well, actually, I have this Harvard study right here done in 2004 that actually shows that worker co-ops are more. No, shut up. Okay, shut up. Private property is inherent in human nature. It's just common sense, okay? And but I have my data here. No, shut up, lab coat. Okay, shut up, nerd. It's common freaking. This is it's common sense, okay? Sometimes people just need to use their brains. You really just actually use their brains more, not just be these middle IQ individuals. They're just like, well, according to my data, according to my source right here, the American Psychological Association says that transgenderism is no longer a mental illness. And my expert, no, shut up, lab coat. Okay, shut up, be quiet. Okay, use your common sense for one damn second. I mean, my gosh, Exactly. Textbook or real life. Exactly. Anarcho-capitalists need to go to rehab. So true. Hey, yo, based? Hello? Based apartment? Let's go. So true. I agree. Am I a rooftop Korean? Yes. So, well, I'm not Korean, but I'm a rooftop Asian. So true. I am indeed. You guys have seen the picture on my Instagram, haven't you? On my personal one. So true. What's your plans after high school? Yeah, I'm gonna go to college. I'm getting so much hate for that. No, I'm going to college. I'm kind of stuck in a position where I have to, but I'm gonna major actually in finance. Let me explain this. So I know someone like me is supposed to just major in political science and stuff like that. The thing is, I feel like I can learn everything in that sort of major on my own. You don't have to go to school to learn political science. I guess you don't have to go to school to learn finance either, but it's. I feel like I can just teach myself political science. Just pick up a bunch of books and read them. I mean, if that's what you really want to do, and. So the reason I want to major in finance is because I basically want to have a backup career if politics doesn't work out for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm basically majoring in something that's like totally unrelated. Not totally. I mean, I guess there's some finance world overlap with like economics, but you know what I'm saying. So that's basically what I'm doing after high school. I'll probably take a few semesters off for when it's relevant. Like I think 2022, I want to take that semester off. Yeah, I want to take the 2022 fall semester off and like be on the boots, be on the ground covering, it's going to be a midterm election year. And then 2024, I want to take like a few semesters off or whatever for that election cycle too. But yeah. Or I could just take school online. It depends where I actually go to college, but did you like shooting the M1 Garand or M16? I liked shooting both. They were both epic and both based. But I'm assuming you're kind of asking like, what did you? I mean, you didn't say it, but I kind of get the feeling you're asking in this question. What did you like better? Okay, so I'll answer that. What did I like better? I think full auto is like fun. You know what I mean? It's very fun to shoot full auto. It was very fun. But I personally, what the hell? Okay. I personally kind of enjoyed the Garand more because when you're shooting full auto, you're kind of just spraying for fun. The Garand, I was kind of like lining up, trying to be more precise, hitting. I think I actually enjoyed shooting the Garand more than M16, but they're both very fun. Both very fun. How should I learn about trading stocks and buying crypto? I don't freaking know. I barely know how to do it myself. I'm not like some stock expert or anything. Okay. Like it is something I want to get into now that I'm 18 and I can have my own like investor account, not like use my parents enough. Mom, what's the password to the TD Ameritrade account? Mom, can you put more money in? Like, yeah, I can finally have my own now. But as to how to do it, I don't know. Watch a tutorial video on it or something. I don't freaking. And in a sense, it is a lot of just gambling at the end of the day too. You can make more educated decisions on the stock market, but at the end of the day, it's all kind of gambling. So might as well just go for it. To the moon, folks. To the moon. 100%. I'm planning to major in baseology. Yo, based. Hello. You've reached the base department. How can I help you today? Oh, I would like to file a report for Mr. Orange Horseman. Okay, very true, so true, very basedology moment. What college am I going to? I don't. I feel like it's implied that that's private information, but that is private information, and it's going to be for a while. Actually, I haven't decided on a college yet, but yeah, that's private information. I don't share that because there's a reason why. There's a genuine reason why. It's not just because I'm trying to be secretive. There's a very important reason why. No conservative activist should share where they go to school, especially college, especially when they're in application season. Just something to. And for all my Zoomers watching, if you're an outspoken conservative, never publicize where you got into college or anything like that. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. And there's a reason why. Just trust me. Do I plan on? Okay, June Moon says, do I plan on running for office in the future? Probably not. Maybe. I shouldn't say probably. Maybe. I don't know. My goal, I'm trying to be more of like I want to be a news personality. You know what I mean? I want to be a commentator. And with APU, maybe I'll kind of be more of like a nonprofit leader that's also sort of a media figure. You know what I mean? But I don't think being a politician is necessarily my thing. I don't think I really fit the mold of a politician. I'm not like I don't think I'm anywhere close to like the edgiest or the most like wild commentator on the internet. But I feel like I'm too much of like a loose cannon to actually be a politician. And I think I'm also too much of a starry-eyed idealist at times, or I just don't think I would actually be good or be effective as a politician. But I feel like my role in the movement is more to hold the politicians accountable. Politicians are actually kept in check, and I feel like that's more of my role as kind of like a natural commentator. You know what I mean? You could be the most based politician. It would be epic. Yeah, that's true. But dude, being a politician is like, and not to hate on people being politicians, because I'm not. I don't want to discourage anyone from going into office because we need more people in office. But come on, guys, being a politician is like cringe and boring. Like you're just surrounded by old people all day talking about legislation. Oh, sir, the oil lobby would like to call you, sir. Oh, can you please draft this 114-point legislation, sir? Oh, okay. Let me write up a 1,000-page stimulus bill for the. Oh, sir, excuse me. It's your donors on the, and this is the other part I don't like about it either. Sir, it's your donors on the line. Oh, hello. Hey, you. No. Listen to me, bucko. Okay. No. You are absolutely going to vote for foreign aid to that unnamed country that I cannot say out loud because it would be unoptical to say. You will do so, sir. Okay, you will do. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Reverse stance on this. Okay, vote yes. There you go. The point is, there's a lot of nonsense in politics. I feel like I'd rather avoid. Kind of just be on the outside, kind of call up the politician and say, "Hey, sir, why aren't you being based, sir? Okay, we gotta pump up your base meter from 5 to 50, sir. Okay." And then the politician's like, "Oh no, I don't want to get the base. Not like based, but like base. Oh no, I don't want to get the base to turn on me. Okay, guess I better be based now. Okay, here you go. Okay, I will now be voting for a 50% reduction in legal immigration." I'm like, yes, let's go. Okay, that's my role. I think that's my role in conservatism. But yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I feel like being a politician hollows out your soul. I think that's true. I think I agree with that. And that's why I like to be an ideological purist from the outside, holding the politicians accountable. You know what I mean? True. I would rather call them out than be one of them. I agree. Do you mind if I share a picture I made in Blender? I guess I don't even know what do you mean. um, would you work with Russia to defeat China, or is it a no go? I don't know if I don't think necessarily an alliance again with Russia would work, but I think that it would actually be a good strategy to sort of isolate China from Russia, and we're never going to be straight out allies. I don't think with Russia. I don't think that's just feasible. I think there was actually a small window for us to really mend ties back when Trump was kind of first running for president and talking about it. But all of that anti-Russia stuff that's basically been drilled into our heads, I think it's basically impossible now to ever kind of recover our relationship. But I do think it's an effective political strategy. Geopolitical strategy, I should say, to sort of, kind of keep a friendly relationship with Russia so that they're not like totally like China loyalists and not totally like economically involved just in China and stuff like that. I think that is good. And so I think that while I don't think it's possible to work with Russia, it is possible to sort of separate Russia from China, if you get what I'm saying, just try to keep their relationship at a little bit of a distance, you know what I mean? So hi, hello. You gotta stop spamming that. Okay, that is not optical. Excuse me. Hi, hello. Can you please stop spamming? You will be banned. Okay, you're not be banned. You'll be put in timeout. I'm about to put you in timeout, my guy. Please stop spamming. Please stop doing that. That's not. Can we get an optics check, sir? Please come on. They're calling me up. They're saying you can't say that. Okay, please stop spamming that. All right, I'm just kidding. By the way, this entire stream is satire. Okay, I'm literally just screwing around. But let's see what else we got here. What are your thoughts on LBJ? I think LBJ was a crappy president. I mean, honestly, I'll just kind of. I think that a lot of this is one place where I think like the BoomerCon sort of establishment talking points about him are actually kind of true and kind of accurate. Not a fan of LBJ. Did you hear about Florida's very based anti-riot bill? Indeed, I did. I thought it was already Florida law that you could do that. Okay, that you could do that to people who are rioting. But regardless, actually, no, I was thinking of something else. You already can do that because it's a stand your ground state. But yeah, great. And we love Ron DeSantis, don't we? We love Ron DeSantis, folks. And there's a reason why 2020. You never saw widespread riots break out in Florida, You did in Georgia, red state, Republican government, right? Never saw riots break out in Florida. And it's not because Florida's all like a bunch of rural white people. Like, if you've ever been to Florida, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. It's a very diverse state. A lot of sort of like a ghetto. It never happened. It never happened because you had a state government there that was actually committed. Okay, like that great sheriff came on TV and Ron DeSantis all and said, "No, you're not going to riot in our state. You know, we're gonna have National Guard. You know, the local business owners and the homeowners and all that stuff. I mean, they're in full authority to enforce the stand your ground law. It's not going to happen in our state." By the way, I think it's very interesting. You know, other factors aside, I think it's very interesting. You look at the 2020 election. Georgia was a state that a lot of Republicans expected that they would basically win pretty easily, right? But also notice, Georgia was really a state where Republicans failed to put down riots, right? Brian Kemp really, especially after like Rayshard Brooks and even before that, all over Atlanta, they were literally just letting people do whatever the hell they want. And I know like the city of Atlanta is run by a Democrat, but you have a state government out there that could have done something, but they really didn't. They kind of just let it run loose. Look what happened in the election. Meanwhile, in Florida, a state where Ron DeSantis made a firm stand that said, "This is not going to happen. We're not going to allow any trouble in our state." Look what happened there. Look what happened where the local Republicans took a stand for law and order. Look what happened there. Look what happened there. Trump overperformed. Republicans overperformed their expectations. Law and order is a winning strategy. I mean, law and order is literally like the most timeless, old school kind of approach, you know? And so I said this a lot. If you guys have been around for a while on this channel, you know, like last summer, I was drilling this home. I was like, you have to take a stand for law and order, guys. It's a winning strategy. Do it. Like I was very cavalier about it. I feel like I've been vindicated, to be completely honest, you know, when you really look at it. So hey Vince, what's your least favorite president? I would say Woodrow Wilson. I think Woodrow Wilson is my least favorite president. I think Andrew Johnson was pretty terrible too. Totally screwed up Reconstruction, you know, which I think if we hadn't had like Johnson just screw it all up, we might have a lot less of a racial divide in America today than, you know, we do because of all that. But I guess I'll say probably Woodrow Wilson, you know, the guy. You have all this stuff with, you know, the guy basically actually brought back, you know, it was actually the sort of a, he you know, the 1920s is a decade. 1920s was a pretty epic decade all around, but you know, there was some bad stuff. There was some not very optical, not very good stuff. Okay. A lot of those ideas, like, you know, scientific racism, social Darwinism, eugenics especially. Woodrow Wilson, you know, Woodrow Wilson sort of brought those ideas back into the fold where they stayed for a while, you know, on foreign policy, basically caused World War II to happen. Very terrible on you know, World War I in general. Really just a very one of the worst presidents I think we've had. And was he worse than Johnson? I don't know, but I think he has had much more of an effect on the modern world than you know, so that's what I would say. Really screwed up foreign policy, especially. Oh, I agree absolutely with this statement. Hi Hello says Wisconsin will flip if any competent Republican runs in 2024. Not Haley or establishment figure. AZ is possible with DeSantis. Don't think Trump can do it though. Then Pennsylvania and what's ours? Oh, Republicans. I don't know. I think you're probably a long ways out to be able to say like how Trump would do in Arizona. I don't know about that part, but I think that DeSantis is more electable in Arizona. I think I would say that. And yeah, I agree. I think Wisconsin is kind of a state that should go Republican basically from here on out, so long as we have like actually good ones and not cringe astroturfed establishment ones. So. Goose AFK says, "Here's my picture. Could you give it a rating?" I don't know if I trust that. I don't know if I want to open that. Okay, I know Goose does a little bit of trolling. It's called he does a little bit of trolling. And so I don't know if I trust. Do you guys trust this immigrant link that that Goose is? I don't know. I feel like he's gonna send it. It's literally just like a picture of like his dump or something. Like that is. I don't know. It's called Goose does a little bit of trolling, right? He does a little bit of trolling. So I don't know. Um, let's see here. Vikram says, "What's your position on immigration?" So obviously, illegal immigration, like the conservatives unanimously agree that it's bad. I also think we need, mass reduction in the numbers of our legal immigration as legal. They're very close in pronunciation, so I wanted to be clear that I was enunciating. I think we need mass reductions in our legal immigration numbers as well. I don't think we're letting in. And I'm obviously not that far descended from immigrants or anything like that, but I think that overall as a country we're letting in immigrants at a rate that is quite frankly very unsustainable. And we just really never had. I think that there's a lot to be said, and I know there's this whole like merit-based immigration, but there's also the economic. So let's first address the current immigration system. So a lot of times when people talk about immigration, they talk about the Statue of Liberty says, "Give me your tired and hungry and poor." It's like, well, we had all this mass immigration during the Industrial Revolution, and that ended out fine. And it was like, okay, sure, we survived as a country. Sure, you could say that more or less the people that came there then are sort of assimilated now. But it is a great misconception that first sort of period of mass immigration that we had in America during the Industrial Revolution, that everything was just all sunshine and rainbows when it wasn't. Actually, like America during the late 1800s and early 1900s was very volatile and very unstable as a society. I mean, you literally had anarchists like assassinating the president every every 2 terms. Like a new anarchist comes and or assassinates the president. It was chaos. You had socialist candidates, a socialist Eugene V. Debs got like astounding numbers of votes in the election. You had, as a result, largely of all this, diversity of all the mass immigration. Not to say that there weren't people who assimilated. But I'm talking about the current immigration system, where we okay, and we'll talk about sort of the idea of merit-based immigration a little bit, okay? But now we're just currently talking about like this immigration system that we have. This idea that like, well, diversity is our strength. You know what? Everyone, the great thing about America, as that Schoolhouse Rock thing show is all about, is that the great American melting pot. Everyone comes in with all these diverse backgrounds and cultures and languages and foods and everything, and it's all this one great and big American melting pot. In reality, it doesn't really go like that. Okay, diversity, quote unquote, is actually is actually a destabilizing force for a society. And I would dare anyone to argue with me that that's not true. I mean, generally speaking, do super diverse countries, whether they're diverse on sort of demographic breakdown, or they're diverse in terms of religion or culture or language, whatever it is, do super diverse countries tend to be the most stable countries? No. Look at sub-Saharan Africa. They have countries in civil war like every 10 years. And even in America during the 1900s, sort of the first wave of what's seen as like the golden age for the immigrant, we actually had a lot of society, and they're not really talked about, but there are a lot of societal problems. And we'll get to like the economics in a little bit, but a lot of just societal, cultural clashes, problems, riots, all this nonsense. Oh, look familiar? That happened in like the first wave of mass immigration. So I think when we talk about immigration, we have to first acknowledge that while, okay, diversity exists, diversity is not our strength. And largely speaking, diversity is actually a destabilizing force in society. And don't get me wrong, I love Mexican food. I love Asian food. But like there's more to it than that. Okay, there's more. And I saw this. I think it was Catalina Luff actually. Other day tweeted something like, "Whoa, America's a nation of immigrants because I eat black beans for breakfast." It's like, okay, yeah, black beans taste good, but there's much more to structuring a society than that. So there is sort of this aspect of it, right? Now, the thing is, what conservatives basically, and I think this some conservatives all agree on. Oh, my bad. But okay, there's the other aspect of this. They say, well, So if the problem is like culture or whatever, as long as we have merit-based immigration where everyone's assimilating, which is like, how do you? I don't understand how you like enforce assimilation. Like, I think actually, what I will say is that the only way you can like enforce assimilation is if you have limited numbers of immigration, right? I'll say that first because I think if you just have like a bunch of immigrants and they're all coming in like millions and millions by the year, how do you have assimilation? There's no need to assimilate if immigrants are coming into the country at a rate to where they're basically becoming the new country. They're forming the new country. What is the need for assimilation? Why do you need to assimilate if everyone from your country is here with you and you can basically just form your own ethnic enclave within the country? So that's one thing to say about the issue of assimilation, but it's also like, how do you even ensure that people are assimilating? Like, how do you even do that, right? But anyways, let's talk about this whole idea of merit-based immigration that conservatives often push. Let's just staple a green card to every diploma, guys. That's a great idea because they're merit-based. See, they went to college in America. So Shi Lan Fo over here must be smart, okay? Han Lu from China, okay? He's smart. He came over here. He majored in engineering, got like 5.0 GPA. He's smart, sir. And okay, I guess on the surface, people, there's something to be said. Well, Albert Einstein was an immigrant, but the thing is, on a mass scale, much more than like one nuclear scientist, on a broad macro scale, what does like this idea of merit-based immigration actually do? What does it actually do, right? Because this is a problem you see with low-skill immigration. People, these companies, and these companies, by the way, love immigration, illegal and illegal. These companies will bring over all these workers basically from the third world because they know they'll pay them for less, right? And that's why, like, now you just have a bunch of illegals that mostly pick fruit in America because it's like, well, the farms can pay the illegals less and they can basically hire them off the books and off the record and stuff like that, right? And like a lot of low tier companies do this. Back during the Industrial Revolution in America, this is something that companies did. They literally would sponsor immigrants to come to America, not because there was a shortage necessarily of workers in America for the most part, but more because they knew these people from Eastern Europe or whatever fleeing like these impoverished nations would work for less, right? And so this is what you kind of had going on. This is still what you have going on now. So yes, it is true that the low-skilled workers in America are hurt most by our current immigration system, right? But the principle is that if you import people from an area of the world where the general income is less and the standard of living is less, then the people that are imported into this country, whatever their job is, fruit picker, restaurant worker, engineer, doctor, whatever it is, they will be more inclined to take a lesser salary and accept a lesser quality of life than the people that already live here, right? The people that are either were born here, have been here for generations, but also even the people who just previously immigrated here or even just like a generation ago, right? So what happens, that same principle that you see among, low-skilled immigrants also applies to high-skilled immigrants. It's not different because you're in a high-skilled sector. So let's just say and this is something I always sort of bring up, you have thousands of American kids, right, who and very smart kids, like they're like the brightest kids we have. They'll spend 4 years and a lot of money getting a degree in, let's just say, for example, engineering, right? You have friends that are engineering majors. I'm sure you do. I'm sure maybe you are an engineering major yourself, right? And I'm sure it's a very hard major, right? You got to do a lot of work for it. Work very hard. And you're an American, okay? How is it fair that we have explain to me what is the need for immigrant, H-1B visa, whatever, these sort of high-skilled merit-based. We need more engineers and doctors, guys. Hey, maybe if you can demonstrate to me a true labor shortage, then, okay, maybe we can figure out how to address that labor shortage exactly. But when you have thousands and thousands of kids majoring in engineering and stuff at our colleges every year, explain to me what exactly is the need to bring in a bunch of engineers from China or India or whatever. And But some people will try to say because those American kids, those high skilled workers here, they get hurt by it. You or your son or whatever, or you send to college for 4 years thinking, oh, he's getting an engineering degree, he's going to come out great and smart, make a lot of money, and then some kid from India or China, whatever, takes his job, or Korea. I mean, how's that fair? How's that fair to the American? Now, a lot of people who will say, well, it's because they're more qualified. They're more qualified, and it is true that our education system sucks. So maybe sometimes they are more qualified. But largely speaking, I don't think that's true. And let me tell the reason I don't think that's true is because a lot of these people that, especially that like the H-1B visa and stuff tries to target, right? Staple a green card to every diploma. Okay, where does that come from? Well, it comes from the idea, and this is true, all these kids internationally. See, if our problem is that our students and our workers are just in the high skilled sectors they're just not good enough at the job because our education system just sucks, and that's why all the kids from China and stuff are better at it. If that's the case, why are all of the kids from China doing their best to go to college in America? Why? Explain that. Explain how that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's a fact that look at any foreign country basically around the world, with the exception of maybe like England, right? England is probably the only exception where they actually have like good colleges at home. Everywhere in the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, the best of the best in those societies, right? The elites, like the true elites, like the prime minister's kids and all that stuff, they all send their kids to American universities, right? To American schools. It's like basically all of these kids in China and stuff is their dream to go to college in America. So I don't necessarily buy the whole argument that it's all about qualification. It's like, well, the engineers from China are just smarter than the engineers in America. That's not even to say that we don't also just have a moral obligation to our own people, even if they're slightly less qualified. I don't think. I mean, I believe in meritocracy, but I don't think it's a god to everything in the sense that we should just open our borders to as much globalization as possible. But even if it were, I don't even think it is the case that it's a question of merit. I think it is the case, however, the real reason why you have the H-1B visa with the tech companies and all this stuff. I think the real reason for it is because the companies know it doesn't really have anything to do with qualification. Oftentimes, the people they're bringing from other countries are actually less qualified. What it really is that just like with low skilled workers, they will work for less. They'll take less money for the paycheck, and that's the real reason why AT&T replaces its American workforce with a bunch of people from India. That's the reason why. It really has nothing to do with like they're just better at the job or whatever, So to answer your question, what is my real take on immigration? I don't. What I will say is I don't. There are a lot of people that support an immigration moratorium, which is not something I necessarily like oppose in principle, but I don't think it's practical. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a real. I don't care if Republicans hold all 100 seats in the Senate, they would still not get it done. Okay, they just suck. Okay, they just suck. But I do think it is a practical goal that we should kind of strive towards. That we should be reducing legal immigration as much as we can, and that's what I'll say. Obviously, the full moratorium, and if we were to do it, it'd have to be something that we'd have to do gradually, right? Kind of like decrease over time, and I guess to the point where we could reach sort of like net zero, kind of like moratorium levels. But I definitely think that it's something we should be reducing. For a lot of different reasons, and I named a lot of different reasons, right? I acknowledge that there is some cultural aspect to it, but I also talked about the economics of it, not necessarily in terms of GDP growth, but in terms of like the benefit it brings to American workers. You know what I mean? By the way, mass immigration does benefit American consumers. There's no denying that. But I don't think that the price of cheap plastic crap, and I don't think that the GDP growth is the only way to measure society. I think there's a lot of people that need to be considered in society too. So there you go. Another very long answer. I've been taking like 20 minutes to answer questions. It's very funny. I wear my sunglasses at night because the sun don't set on a badass. So true. So true. Many such cases. So true. So true. 100% agree. 100% agree here. Okay? So true. All right. Let's see. What's going on in chat here? People are calling from mods and all this stuff. His Goose sends a $2. He says, click the link, Vince. I don't trust your links, okay? Can someone verify his links first here, folks? Can someone verify his Goose's links? I'm very, very concerning, okay? You're very concerned. Best president of the last century, I guess the last century, right? I personally am a fan of Calvin Coolidge. He's kind of like my favorite president, just overall, I think. I know a lot of people say Teddy Roosevelt. You know, there are kind of places where I think Teddy was better and I think Calvin was better. I actually kind of like Calvin more than Teddy, though, to be honest. So I'd probably say Calvin Coolidge. Look at his record. Very good, right? Firstly, he did fulfill the sort of economic conservative, and it's like I said, it's not something that I necessarily value the most. But on the economic conservative sort of front, he was actually like the best, better than Reagan. He actually reduced the federal budget from when he took office to when he left it. I mean, when was the last time you heard a president do that? But on more important, I'm not saying this it's an unimportant issue, but on other issues, trade. He was a based protectionist, based American isolationist. Oh, foreign policy. That's also something. And by the way, it's something that I value, I think, a lot more than other people, because I think, the way a country approaches foreign policy reflects the way that the country views itself in the world. And Calvin Coolidge was a staunch isolationist, a staunch American nationalist, right? And this is something, you have the divide between nationalism and globalism. See, I strongly believe that America is a nation state and should remain a nation state, and I think that the way what a country pursues in its foreign policy really reflects the way it sees itself. And that's why I actually think foreign policy is very important. I don't think it's just, we spent too much money in the Middle East or whatever. I think it's actually, it reflects who you are as a country, what your foreign policy is. And on foreign policy, love Calvin Coolidge. He was the person who, the president, to really step in and truly address the immigration problems we were having in our country throughout the early 1900s. Again, very based, very epic. Overall, great president. Really a fan. And maybe he should have reined in the Fed and reined in big business, business a little bit to kind of stop the Great Depression. But we really break it down. The Great Depression really wasn't entirely his fault. But so yeah. You guys are saying the Discord. What the hell? What do you mean the Discord link doesn't work? What a bunch of libtards. That's literally the Discord link. Okay. I think I need to get the invite link. That's probably what it is. So you can stop spamming hi, hello. Okay, I'll get you the Discord link. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Excuse me, sir. Could you please stop spamming, sir? All right, here we go. Invite people. Okay, here we go. Here's an invite link. Okay. All right, here's the invite link. Okay. There's a Discord server. Okay. You leave me alone now. Okay. There you go. All right. All right, let's see what else we got in the chat here. Teddy was the manliest president ever. No doubt. I definitely agree with that. I like Teddy, by the way. I'm not anti Teddy Roosevelt. I think he's also like up there. But I just personally, I find Calvin Coolidge to be a better. And by the way, this is never something that would work in a modern society, because we basically gravitated toward the president and sort of view him in a way as sort of like the celebrity, this monarch. But, Calvin Coolidge was silent Cal. He basically, he never really talked a lot, didn't really show his face. There's something to be said. There's something to be respected about like a president who, isn't like central to American life or whatever, and kind of just keeps to himself and kind of just wants you to live your life and pursue, you know what I mean? And like obviously it would never like work today. The president has become such a magnetic figure, but I think there's something to be for the times. There's something to be actually respected about it. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap up the stream in a little bit. Probably end here at like 6 minutes at 8:30 my time. So if you guys want to send in some of your final birthday gifts to me, you can send it again through the super chat or send it to me on Venmo or Cash App. Link is in my description. And we can buy some epic M1 Garans and stuff with that money. But let's see here. Are there jobs in the political realm that actually pay well / are practical? Some people in politics make pretty good money. Well, you can be a politician and make a lot of money. That's not ethical. It's not ethical, obviously, and it's pretty clear why. But you know, the a lot of the people, the top people in the news media, right? They make a lot of money. Lobbyists, oh boy, those people make a lot of money. And as much as we call them nonprofits, the chairs of a lot of big nonprofits, they make some pretty good money too. So there are some ways. It is definitely a harder field to just make a lot of money in, because the most of the roles don't make a lot of money, and the ones that are very hard to kind of attain and get to. That's not to say you can't do it, but it's not necessarily the field where you're like, oh, I'm chasing this bread. Like, it's not really that kind of field. You know what I mean? Just John 2003 says, how do it feel to be able to legally make porn now? No, shut up, Coomer. No cooming here. Shut up, Coom brain. Okay, porn is cringe. Porn is degenerate, and it should be illegal. Okay, so yes, technically I can now legally make porn, but it shouldn't be that way. Okay, it should be illegal. Okay, fight me then. Fight me. No, actually, don't fight me. Watch anti-porn dissertation from Doyle. I mean, I could probably make like an okay argument against porn, but that's really the place you should go. Okay, that's really the one you should be watching for it. Banish the Coomer. Get out of here, Coomer. Okay, get out of here. This is Chad zone only. Come on, Coomer. Okay, no cooming here. No cooming here. Take that outside. Take that outside. Okay, what is your opinion on Real American Politics announcing his candidacy for Wisconsin State Legislature? Fully endorse. Okay, let's go. We're on the rap train. You guys on the rap train? Okay, we're on the rap train. We'll go from here to Milwaukee to Culver's to everywhere. Okay, rap train gang. Okay, rap gang. I vote for him, and I do the thing. Gonna make the liberals go bye-bye, go bang bang. Rap gang. Okay, 100%. Don't take. That's true. Okay, I retract statement. Don't take cooming outside. Okay. Culver's is overrated. Don't at me. I've never had Culver's. I was gonna try it when I was in Arizona, but I was literally like, okay, I'm just eating like shit this whole weekend. I should probably just stop eating. Goose says, is there a way to talk to you like in social media or a community? It's really difficult to interact with you unless you know the right people. Kind of like Chandler. Aren't you? Oh, it's because you're not. I have a group chat with a lot of the people from the Discord server that I actually talk in, but you're not in that group chat because you started a war with I don't know, and I don't even know what went on there. But ask them to add you to that chat. Okay, I literally have a chat with like the top OGs and Discord server that I would not even mind you being in, but unfortunately, you do a little bit of trolling. Okay, it's called you do a little bit of trolling, and they don't like you, and I'm not even the admin for that chat. Okay, so I really don't have control here. Okay, but you did a little bit of trolling. Okay, it's called you did a little bit of trolling. So that I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, okay? But I actually do talk in that group chat, okay? So you know, why don't you get Mario, whatever, and make a new group chat, okay? And then add me and Maddie, okay? And we'll have a second group chat, okay? And there you can do a little bit of trolling. It's called you do a little bit of trolling, okay? So. Vince, can you add me back to the group chat? I got kicked because someone thought I was cock blocking you, and I don't know. I don't know what the hell the draw. Okay, you did a little bit of trolling. It's called you did a little bit of trolling. Okay, again, I don't really run that group chat. Okay, I kind of just talk to whoever's there. So talk to Goose and make your own group chat. Okay, and I'll be active there too. Okay, I mean, really. And it's just Goose really does do a little bit of trolling. Exactly, it's called a little bit of trolling. He does a little bit of trolling. Okay, so you know. Arvin Presley says, "Thank you, happy birthday, Vince. Thank you very much. Thank you very much." Did you enjoy Arizona? Moving there in about 2 months. Yeah, I love Arizona. I mean, the weather is a little bit hot and dry, and I kind of get chapped lips every time I'm there. But it's a pretty cool state. By the way, I didn't wear a mask anywhere in Arizona. I was in Phoenix, by the way. Didn't wear a mask to a single business. Okay, I mean outside of the airport. That was the only place I wore a mask. Every single restaurant, every single shop, all across the mall. Not once. It was so epic. It was so based. Okay, so unironically based. So yeah. First gun purchase coming soon. Yes. I got to work on it because in California you have to get your hunting license to buy at 18. You can't just walk in. So I got to work on that. But yes, coming soon, folks. I do have this pellet gun right here, this BB pistol, whatever, and I do have another one. But no more cringe pellet guns. I gotta get some real firepower. You know what I mean? So too much anime out there. Bang. Okay. But that's this is kind of just a toy to be. I mean, to be completely honest, this is a toy. This is just a BB gun, you know. But you see too much hentai, you can say, well, but bang, get out of here, hentai. But anime equals cringe. So true. Phoenix is 100 times, 1,000 times better than LA. So true. Many such cases. So true. Shout out from Arkansas. What do you think of these trans bills and the abortion bills? I'm glad they're getting some attention, but there's some interesting backlash from the left. I'm assuming you're talking about the ones that Ass Hutchinson, okay, the governor there. I don't call him by his name. I call him Ass Hutchinson. That's his name. His name is Ass Hutchinson. But I'm assuming you're talking about the ones that Ass Hutchinson refuses to sign. I support the bills, but Ass Hutchinson is cringe, and he's just being stupid. But yeah, you got primary Ass Hutchinson out of office. I mean, seriously. Goose says, "Get Maddie in the new group chat. Just add her, dude. Just add her." Yo, wait, is this the real? Is this a real American? Isn't your wait? Hold on. I have to verify that this is you. Isn't your name on YouTube Real American Politics or just Real American? I don't even remember. Is this the real rap? Hold on, let me see if it is. I believe this is the real rap. Let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up? We got rap in chat. Epic, very epic. Okay, very epic. Okay, Goose, this is for you. He says, get me in there too. My Insta is that. Okay, so that's for you, Goose. But yo, it's rap. Let's go. Okay, so someone in the chat informed me. I mean, I saw in the group chat too, but someone in the chat informed me that you will indeed be running for Wisconsin State Legislature, and I stated that I endorsed. And I also made a very cringe rap song out of it. rap song, rap song for rap puns. Oh, wordplay. Oh, look, I'm so quirky. But yeah, rap gang. Let's go. Are you in rap gang? We're all in rap gang. Real American says okay. I don't know. But yeah, what's good, Rap? How you doing, sir? I don't think have me and Rap ever like directly interact. I don't think we've actually directly talked to each other, have we? But we should. the famous notorious rap. Let's go. Yes, indeed, Rap King. You're welcome. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I got my whole live chat to endorse you. There you go. There you go. Donate to the rap campaign, okay, guys. He will. This thing's stuck. Okay. Anyways, I wish I could walk around without a mask, but I'm in liberal ass Hawaii. So true. So true. Although, you should actually one day for fun, you should just like walk around without one and just like see what happens, see what your reaction is. Because I feel like sometimes people think more people are going to care than they are, and like nobody actually cares when you do it. So that's also like a possibility. Thomas says, what is your opinion that conservatives should move to the South and consolidate and actually be able to get things done on a state level? I don't think. No, I mean, if you want to move to the South, go ahead. But I mean, if you're talking like on a large scale, I think that it's not necessarily the South that you need to be moving. I think conservatives need to be moving to swing states in particular. So I guess Georgia is one of them, but states like Arizona, Florida, Texas, Tennessee is probably a state that you might want to move to. It's obviously a red state for now, but I think that a lot of the sort of it has actually the highest rate of intrastate migration in America. And I think it's a state that you might see ending up like Texas in a decade from now. But, move to those states. And then if you can bear it, maybe move to like someone like Pennsylvania and Michigan too, sort of those bluish states that are trending more red. You could do that as well. But that's really the place you got to be moving. You're in LA too? Yes, I am in the LA area. Yes. Rapp is going to get elected to public office and his donors will be calling him and say, yo, give a speech where you read the Nixon. What do you guys keep asking me to read? I must search this up. I must search this up before, in case it is, this better not be some what. Let's see, what is this? What the heck is Nixon lore? What? I don't understand. What is this that you're asking me to look up? Nixon lore. Is it just like lore about Richard Nixon, or is it like an actual like book or something? Like, what are you guys asking me to read? I don't understand. I don't know. All right, I don't know. It's called a little bit of confusion. We do a little bit of confusion. And Nixon lore is something on his Discord. Okay. I don't know what it is. It's a shitty meme on my Discord. Okay. Well, maybe you can introduce it to me sometime. Oh, Red Eagle's here. Oh, what's up, guys? Oh, we got the whole freaking crew here. Yo, do you guys want to hop in the stream? We could like literally do that for like 30 minutes. I can just like send the link and you can have like rep and rap and everyone here if you guys want. You guys don't have to, but Nixon lore is alt history from Rap's Discord server. Oh, is that the crap with like that guy Pennsylvanian keeps tweeting about on Twitter, like with Rap as like president or whatever? Is that what you guys are talking about? Oh my god, people keep asking for the Discord link. The Discord link is just here. Oh my god, wait, let me just send it again. I watch anime. Do you think it is bad? Yes, I do think it is bad. Anime is cringe. Okay. And people are saying, well, Vince, you're just being the moral police. I mean, who really cares? Just anime. Well, yes, I am being the moral police. Yes, I am forcing my personal views down everyone's throat. What of it, huh? So yeah, anime is indeed cringe. Nixon versus Al Gore. Nixon isn't Nixon dead? That's a stupid question. What? This doesn't make any sense. I'm very, very confused. Okay. Very confused. How about violent masculine anime? There's no such thing. This is inherently contradictory. Okay, there's literally no such thing. Red Eagle will make eggs great again. I don't know. I'm very, very confused. Okay, I'm not familiar with this with this memeing. Okay, it's called a little memeing. We just do a little bit of memeing. What is this? Very confused. Very confused. It's a rabbit hole. See, you can say this. Okay, you can say this, but now you have me curious because your viewers in this live chat or your Discord members won't shut the hell up about Nixon lore. I was ignoring it at first because I was scared it would be like just some like anti-Semitic like troll they're trying to like get me to read or something like that. Okay. Okay. But then I'm like, okay, what is this? Let me just find out what it is. And then it's like, okay, tell this guy with the flame profile picture, you shouldn't have been spamming it in my chat because now I'm actually curious as to what it is. I mean, this is how it goes. Okay. Very second. What am I supposed to do? It's not my fault. Do go down. Well, you got conflicting things here. We got Rap saying don't go down it. Orange Horseman saying do. I believe Rep is probably just sitting in here, just being neutral. What's going on here, folks? Rap Discord culture defined by one name, Ian Malcolm. Oh, see, I don't know who that is. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, guys. Okay, not sure. Yeah, exactly. Nixon lore does sound kind of like QAnon. Probably. Don't read Nixon lore. It's okay. Well, now the cringe democracy has outvoted the guy with the flame because we got Rap and Rep. By the way, their votes count more because they have more followers on social media, and that's how it works. That's how the world works. Okay. I absolutely take in personal factors into account when I make my decisions. So I am kind of curious, though, I have to say, but Just John 2003 says, "What do you think about QAnon?" I think QAnon is basically a leftist psyop at this point. It's literally, I think at this point it's literally just leftists just trying to troll conservatives and get them to believe stupid crap. Which, by the way, I also think there's sort of an ulterior motive to it too. I mean, I think it's a bunch of nonsense, to be honest with you. That was QAnon, dude. QAnon made me drop that thing on my foot. No, but I think that it's actually like this sort of ploy to get conservatives to be complacent and stop them from taking political action. Because what does QAnon people always say? Follow the plan. It's all going to be in the plan. Don't worry, guys. Indictments are coming. TikTok, deep state. Okay. I think this is actually sort of a setup for just get conservatives to trust the plan. There is no plan. There's no plan. There's no nothing like happening. But it's basically a psyop to get to prevent conservatives from like mobilizing or taking any effective or efficient sort of political action themselves. They're basically just baited into following the plan or whatever the hell that means. You know what I mean? So I think that's what QAnon really is. So, oh wait, their cruise lore. Christie lore. It's such a shit show. I cringe. All right then. Vince, are there any more conservative events going on in Phoenix this summer? And is it difficult to talk to people there? We will actually, this is not like final or official yet, but we might be doing an APU event. It was originally going to be a different event, but it might just now become a populist union event for my organization. We might actually be doing an event ourselves in Arizona. We'll let you know if it actually ends up happening. It's not a sure thing yet, but it's a possibility right now that we're looking at. That might happen. As for other events, I don't know. I don't even know. Cotto Chap. Okay, I agree with this. Cotto Chapman lore would indeed be the most entertaining. That would probably be Sims for Love Pack fun Cotto lore. So true. So true. Okay, this person says, Vince Dow, do you think the Asian vote is going to be more favored with Republicans over time, or is it going to stay stagnant? I think it's actually going to decrease with Republicans over time because you see a lot of, not from every Asian country, but immigrants from a lot of Asian countries, actually, a lot of them are actually Republican, Vietnamese, a lot of the Filipinos, some Koreans, right? But the thing is that when these people have kids, and this is something I notice in the Vietnamese communities, it's something I notice in general, they're kids who grow up like in the West, in the Western education system. And you could talk about like the new immigrants or whatever, but I also think it's true that the new immigrants are sort of more stuck in like a more polarized culture and are probably even more Democrats themselves. I think that as the old generation starts to kind of like pass down the reins to the new generation, these kids are not. And don't get me wrong, there's sort of like this subculture of Asian boys that are like really based, okay? Like that, those do exist. but I think a lot of them also don't really care about politics that much. There's a lot of these like young Asian social justice warriors that like their parents are immigrants or whatever, but they're raised in the Western education system and they're taught all the identitarian stuff and all that stuff, and just turn out to be hardcore leftists. So I think over time you're actually going to see the Asian vote decrease for Republicans, because the immigrants from like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s that used to be kind of like Republican locks, they're gonna, I mean, not all of them are gonna like die off immediately, get old and stuff, but they're gonna start to be outnumbered by like this new generation of also new immigrants, by the way, because like I said, they're brought into like this super polarized culture that just didn't exist in the 90s and stuff like that. But also, mainly speaking, you have the young people, and the young people are cringe. Okay, the conservative Zoomers are very epic, but outside of that, most young people are very, very cringe. So I don't know, but I actually think it's going to decrease over time, unfortunately. Unfortunately, very sad, very sad. It's same thing with Cubans, right? Yeah, I think that you have the current people that came from Cuba, and they're like, we no Castro, right? But the younger people, I mean, they're out here wearing the Che Guevara shirts, not just young Cuban people, just young people in general. So it's a problem. It's a real problem. Will the Roof Koreans make a comeback? I think they will, and I think it'll happen sooner than later because, the Chauvin verdict, I don't know exactly when it's going to come out. Might come out like this week or next week. Oh boy, we kind of know what's going to happen here. So, Cuban and Viet's got redder in 2020. No, this is true. Because I think that there's kind of an effective tactic made specifically with them about socialism, but I think like I'm saying, like I think in the long run, like in the long game, and I think it's also because a lot of like the older people from these groups sort of like kind of cared more because it was kind of like a high turnout year, you know what I mean? But I think over time we're actually going to sort of lose our grips with them unless we sort of figure out something with the young people. I don't know, but the thing about, you look at Vietnamese, like, yeah, they got redder in 2020, but even in 2020, at least in California, like you compare it to like the 90s or the early 2000s, it's like, okay, we're still like far off from we used to be. So that's a problem. And I think that like as more and more of these fools turn 18, we'll probably get like reduced shares of the vote. So the verdict is coming out Friday morning, most likely. Oh, that's so bad, dude. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I have to fly. So I'm giving a speech at an event in Montana on Saturday. I have to drive to the airport very early Saturday morning to fly there. If the verdict comes out on Friday, then LA is gonna be a fucking shit show. Okay, it is gonna be like at the worst, because you know how the riots always go. Like there's that first few days where like nothing is in control, and then they're like, okay, maybe we should call the National Guard now, and then things kind of like cool down a little bit. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it to the airport. Okay, they're going to be blocking the freeway. Okay, there's gonna be so many people want their TVs and shit that it's just gonna. Oh my. We're probably going to be driving to the airport. The whole city's like on fire. Like you see I don't even know what the real building is called, but whatever the Maze Bank building is in GTA. I don't know. I know it's a real bank. I don't even remember which bank. It's just like crumbling down. It's like on fire from the top of the window, and it's like slowly like tilting over. Like it's gonna be terrible. Okay. By the way, guys, if you live in eastern Montana, like near Helena is, and you're interested in coming to the event, DM me on Instagram. I'll give you the details. But and then I have to come back Sunday. Okay, so maybe if I survive Saturday, I still got to drive all the way from like LAX to where I live, which is like you got to go through the heart of the city here. Why? Why can't it just come out on Monday? Jeez, dude. Oh. All right, that's gonna be that. Why? Okay. Why? So yeah. That's how it goes. All right. That's how it goes. The cities are gonna make I agree. I think that these riots are gonna be just worse. But then again, you never know, because Here's also something else to consider. These democratic cities had an agenda and had basically a purpose to not to like let the riots get out of hand, right? This past summer, because they kind of had this like a blame it on Trump mentality. Oh, they're the Trump riots, right? Kind of going on here. Now that Biden is president, you never know. You might actually see like a one. I'm not sure about this. Like I don't know exactly how this is gonna go. But I think there's a possibility that you actually see a 180 turn from the Democrats, or the Democrats, because they know they're the ones in power, and so they know the riots will reflect them and their leadership. I would not be surprised if you actually see sort of them make like this 180 turn that's like, no, law and order, guys. Okay, we got to put this down because we don't want to look bad ourselves. So that's also something to consider. But I also think that it might just be inevitable that it's such a powder keg and the anger is just so much worse that it doesn't even matter and they're just going to be terrible anyway. Um, so, you know. The riots will still happen. They did under Obama. I mean, yeah, I think this is true. I think it's just a question of like how bad they get, because you never know. Joe Biden might come out and say, "Whoa, no, you need law and order, guys. I believe in law and order." Who knows? We'll see what happens. I think it's gonna be pretty bad regardless, though. So. Seeing a return to the 1990s in a bad way, ladies. Well, I wouldn't say that because the riots of 2020 were way worse than the riots of 1990s, at least nationwide. I mean, sure, LA got burned a little bit more in 92, but across the country, you've never really seen like that was something, It wasn't really regional, it's like national now. All right, well, anyways, we've been streaming for a while. I'll probably wrap it up in a few minutes here. But I did want to say, let's see what else we got here. The store, they wouldn't have looted their store if this week's sponsor was NordVPN. If it wasn't for this week's sponsor, NordVPN. That's true. NordVPN should sponsor me. Guys, listen, you guys want to hear about internet? Listen, we're talking about the security of my drive to LAX, but let me tell you about internet security. For now, for a limited time off, you can use a code VinceDao to get 20% off NordVPN. That's just a joke. I'm not actually sponsored by NordVPN. They should though. They should, okay? I can do an epic NordVPN ad. I can literally go up to my Wi-Fi router and just be like, "Whoa, this doesn't look very protected." As you can see, it's very open. Someone can just come and grab it. But with NordVPN, they should actually sponsor me. That would be very epic. Let's see. This person says, "I have a state project. What state should I do?" I think you should do. Let me think. I would do Nebraska. Let me tell you why. If you're like me, you hate researching things in school. Okay? You literally just hate researching things. Researching things is cringe and boring and takes time. The thing about Nebraska is nobody really knows anything about the state. You know what I mean? Like, no, who knows the state history of Nebraska? Well, nobody does. Nobody does. Now, the thing is, Nebraska does not have like this notorious history for being like the most boring state out there, but it is a pretty boring state, right? The reason I say that is because you could get around doing research about the state because your teacher's not going to verify anyway. You could literally just make up stuff about Nebraska that sounds plausible. Your teacher won't know anything. They won't know anything about Nebraska because like who knows anything about Nebraska? So as long as you make it sound like believable, you could just make up information and do zero research and like get an A. What is the teacher going to do? Google if it's true? Well, that's why you don't say like, "Oh, aliens found in Nebraska." Just make up plausible things that seem to make sense about Nebraska, but are probably not actually true, and things that you probably didn't actually research. And that's the way to go. I would do Nebraska, or Kansas, or what are other random ass states? I don't know, Utah, like just states that like just make up plausible information. You could probably get away with it. Cheating on tests is crazy. I never said to cheat on tests, okay? When did I ever say that? I disavow all forms of academic dishonesty, okay? I was just giving some advice here, sir. Okay, sir. So The security of my household is sponsored by Smith and Wesson. That is based. I love that comment. I might steal that for myself. Utah, oh, that has rich history. No, it does. It does, but it's like I guess if you're talking about the history, then yeah, you have all the Mormon stuff, right? But the thing is, like in the current day, like nobody cares about Utah. So you could say like the population of Utah is like, I don't know, 3.5 million. No one's gonna care enough about Utah to search it up. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's all I'm saying. All right, Slurm says, "Happy birthday, Vince. Thank you very much." Asian do test good. So true. So true. Many such cases. So true. All right, let's see. We're end here in 6 minutes. Okay, we'll end at exactly 9 p.m. my time. 3-hour stream. Very cool. Remember when you used to do that every single Friday? That was tiring. But let's see. Do Wyoming because there's nothing there, so you don't have to do research and you will get an A. This is another possibility. Let's say, okay, well, this is Wyoming. It has a population of like 700,000 people, and they have a lot of deer and grizzly bears that live there, and they have a part of Yellowstone. Sorry, I've been streaming for so long. I'm just getting like dead. But anyways. Oh, teacher. Oh, yes. So true, Jimmy. So true. I agree. A plus. So easy. So easy. All right, let's see what else you got here. By the way, guys, last chance to send me a birthday gift. Okay, we gotta fund this M1 Garand. Okay, we gotta fund that. We're funding my M1 Garand on the backs of your super chats, ladies and gentlemen. So, last chance. Okay, you got 5 minutes. I'm just saying. All right, just kidding. Whatever you want. But let's see. Let me see. Don't, dude. I've been streaming for 3 hours. What do you mean? Don't go, Vin? What do you think? I'm just immortal or something? I actually probably would be immortal, but I'm very hungry, and that's kind of distracting me. That's the reason why you're seeing this stream kind of get cut a little bit. Vince, you still going, G? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my guy. I literally no, you guys don't remember on election. On election night, I literally streamed for like 12 hours. Do you guys not remember this? You guys not remember this? You guys were here. It was like not all of it was on YouTube, but like I went to like 4 a.m. in the morning on election night. I mean, it's freaking insane. Actually, that's not. What am I doing? That's actually 12. Like it's like 12, 13 hours that I streamed. Okay, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But you know, I can go for a long time. I'm just really hungry right now, which is why I don't want to. Happy birthday! Thank you very much. Fund the M1 Abrams. Yeah, okay, that is true. If we get enough super chats, I'll just buy an M1 Abrams instead of a Garand. Yo, let's go! Oh, let's go, dude. Oh wait, this is Canadian. Is that Canadian $100? Actually, that's worth more, isn't it? Let's go. John Gaminer says, "Happy birthday, champ." Thank you very much. Okay, they got $100. Let's go. High energy. Okay, high energy. Making those stonks. We going to the moon. Okay, thank you very much. All right, $100. Happy birthday, champ. You are the true champ. All right, thank you very much. This will go toward the M1 Garand fund. Well, first it's going to go to cryptocurrency or something, and then I'm going to cash out, buy my Garand. Okay, very base. And then people are going to be like, "Oh my God, Vince, you're such a racist. You're such a Nazi." I'm be like, "How am I a Nazi? I have an M1 Garand." Okay, do you not know the history? Okay, this is literally the gun that was used to hunt down Nazis in World War II. Okay, so shut up. I have a Garand, you don't. Okay, I'm the true Nazi fighter here. Okay, thank you very much for the. Is that like Canadian dollars? I don't know what the CA is in front of it, but let's go. Okay, let's go. Thank you very much. Okay, very cool, very epic. Exactly. We got to send Doge to the moon so that way we can send DAO to the moon. It is a symbiotic relationship. It's a mutually exclusive relationship. Let's go. Okay, that's $80. All right, that's plenty. Let's go. Okay, my no, not why did I say Chad? My Chad John in here, that guy earlier that sent like $50. Okay, and everyone who sent money in the stream, you are epic. Okay, you're very epic. Let's go. Doge nationalism, DAO nationalism. Okay, it's Vince DAO nationalism season. Let's go. Okay, let's go. DAO to 1 million. Dude, that'd be so funny. Imagine if I just started like my own cryptocurrency. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Very cool, very epic. Um, yeah, guys, we have 2 minutes left here. Just gonna like kind of let the chat simmer down a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. But yeah, guys, I'm now 18. All right, your boy is now kind of legal. All right, let's go. Let's go. It's white boy summer out here, which I am excluded from, but still happy to see the boys having fun. All right. So let's go. Let's start the Dow coin. VinceDao space program. Yes, yes. But it's not going to be for me. It's going to be for the libtards, okay? We got to send the libs to space, okay? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna retract that. Okay, that's not very optical. Okay, fine. I'll say we're gonna go to space to escape the libs. Okay, that's more optical. Okay, much more optical. Okay, than saying we're gonna do what I just said. Okay, so yes, indeed, we're gonna send ourselves to space to escape the libtards. Let's go. How much money have you made from donations so far? I don't know. I need to count. I think we made probably 100, close to 150 tonight. And then YouTube taxes 30% of it or whatever. So I'll probably be close to one. I'm not going to do the math right now. $100, $110, something like that. All right. Anyways, guys. How about Asian Boy Summer? It's not Asian Boy Summer. It's Asian Boy Autumn. We have to wait, okay? True kings value delayed gratification, okay? And that is absolutely true. But anyways, guys, it's now 9 o'clock. I've been streaming for 3 hours now, so I'm going to hop off the stream, guys. But thank you very much for all the donations. Thank you for all the happy birthday wishes. Your boy is now 18. Okay? Coincidentally, by the way, born on the same day as the start of the American Revolution. So that's based. Okay, that's freaking based. But yeah, I'll see you guys. See you guys tomorrow. I'll get back to making the podcast and stuff tomorrow. Like I said, I was traveling all of last week, which is why the upload schedule was a little bit erratic, a little bit whack, a little bit off. But yeah, we'll be back. We're back here, guys. Also, like I said, making a speech in Montana on Saturday. If you guys live in the eastern side of Montana where Helena is, let me know if you want to come. DM me. I'll send you the tickets. I don't know if anyone even lives in Montana, so I don't even know how to promote this event. It's guys, if I'm speaking in Arizona or something, I'm I know a bunch of people in Arizona, so I'm hey, come to this event. Who the hell lives in Montana? I don't know anyone who. That's not true. I know 2 people who live in Montana, but they're the people who invited me to the event. So it's nobody lives in Montana. I've said it out a few times. I'm all right, if anyone lives in Montana, DM me for the tickets. No one responds because nobody lives in Montana. They're not human beings in Montana. Okay? Quick rant about Montana, but we love Montana. Okay? We love Montana. Proud Montana nationalist. Definitely not just saying that because I'm speaking there. Okay? But anyways, that'll be a great event. I'll post a speech, guys. You guys will see. I'll literally red pill the whole audience there. And yeah, with that being said, guys, have a good night. Remember, folks, alpha moves only, VinceDao nationalism to the moon. And until next time, have a good night. And remember, you must escape the libtards. Okay? See you guys.